That's why they pay you the big bucks, Track,
Yeah.
in this booth for those
I
nice.
have opinions about glasses.
But
There
yeah,
we go.
PointCrow is, again, he's really a great runner. He plays Breath of the Wild, he plays Pokemon, he makes mods for those kind of games. He's a very fun watch on his Twitch stream. And let's talk about the game now. I mean, you can see it's Celeste. You know this was coming. It's been out for 3-4 years now. A hot indie game, was very, took the speedrunning world by storm, and it still is reverberating. A lot of players are still playing this game because it is just made for speedrunning.
Yeah, it's all mechanics. It's kind of, yeah, as you say, made for speedrunning, and also kind of got a Super Meat Boy vibe, right? Which is to say, I can't even imagine how much time they put into the mechanics and polishing them and getting them just right, just pixel perfect. I would say they probably put more thought into the movement than everything else combined in this game. And that's one thing you see, there are obviously people speedrun older games. People are playing, the first Mario, they're playing Mike Tyson's Punch-Out for crying out loud, and these things are come out decades ago and people still speedrun them, but they weren't designed for that at all. But because this is a newer game, it comes after speedrunning has become a thing. It's easy to remember, this is a new quote-unquote sport. It's a new esport in particular, and Celeste is one of those games made after the advent and rise of speedrunning, and clearly made with that in mind, designed from the ground up for speedrunning, and it really shows.
Yeah, and we just, as another huge part of this what we're going to see in the next 2 hours or less, is crowd control. And I'll give you a brief rundown if anyone's just new here. Crowd control is how you can affect what happens to these players. And we can see that PointCrow is already facing the effects of that. That one first screen of the game was reversed, right? So he had to play the game going to the left rather than the right, which is normal. Now you see Cheese doing the same thing over there. So that makes it a lot harder. And the game like this, we were talking to Track before this, I mean, this game is technical when you play it normally. I mean, I had a hard time beating this game just normally. And when you add this crowd control, quote unquote, fun into it, fun in quotation marks for these runners, it's going to be really tough. So I can't wait to see how they handle it.
Yeah, I mean, I just talked about how precise the game is, so imagine throwing in any change at all, let alone a big one, right? It's going to throw you off completely, because this game is designed for that level of precision. Like, there's all sorts of little tricks here, like the kind of coyote jump stuff where, like Wile E. Coyote, you walk off the cliff and you don't fall until you look down, right? Yeah, haha, that old joke. But that exists in this game, too. You can walk a few pixels off the edge and still get the jump off, and that is deliberate, right? A lot of these things are deliberate. There's a lot of little forgiveness around corners, and you have to hit things just so sometimes because they have to chain these moves together. There's only 3 or 4 different movements and buttons, but you chain them together in very subtle ways that create completely different types of jumps or skips. So that's hard enough just in general until you throw things like Earthquake and Hiccup at them.
Yeah. We won't explain those, what exactly happens until we see those, if you haven't already, I hope. As we see Cheese here still getting some study and work in with the controls or changing his controls. New computer over there in the Cheese mansion. So he is working that out as we speak. I do want to say, though, as for the experience of these runners, PointCrow has not had any that I could find playing this game publicly, on the internet that I could find in my sleuthing. Cheese, however, though, did speedrun this game for quite a little bit of time. He did have a pretty fine time of, I'd say, about 30 minutes, I think. So he is a speedrunner of this game. You think this would be easy for him to take this one, but he was very worried. He was not confident. I can tell you that when I talked to him before this match. He's not confident that he could win. So we're going to see what happens.
I mean, it's a humbling game. It's a hard game to be confident in, even in the best of circumstances, and these are not the best of circumstances. And yeah, I think his personal best is something like 35 minutes. Granted, again, without the aforementioned Hiccup or Earthquake, and you're right, I think we're going to know those when we see them.
Okay, and as we see, the legendary chat in the house PointCrow has streamed this entire game. So yeah, he's played through it, so he knows what he's supposed to be doing, but hey, speedrunning and running are two very different things. Speedrunning and playing are two very different things. So we're going to see how this shakes out. For sure. I could say on the who's having more fun factor, which is something that I like to look at. PointCrow is having a hell of a time right now, and Cheese is still trying to find his way right now.
Yeah, hey, I mean, you've topped my glasses analysis by noticing how much he's smiling. So we've got it covered, man. We've got all aspects of their speedrunning. Yeah, look, playing is not speedrunning, and speedrunning is not crowd controlling, if I can invent a verb there. So this is... nobody is really an expert in playing Celeste with crowd control on, let's be honest.
Oh, yeah.
There is no such thing.
PointCrow is now dealing with the screen being zoomed in. As you can see, it just ran out there. So that is a very tough thing to deal with here. Cheese is having to deal with battle line there. The bad, what's the right word for that? The anti
evil doppelganger.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Evil
He's
twin.
Dealing with that. So
does she have a goatee, or does that? Nah, I guess that doesn't work. No, fair enough.
So.
Yeah, it's just a hair thing.
Yeah,
That's
so
one of my
it's-
favorite things about it, though, is the hair mechanic. The fact that you use the hair color to tell the player when the cooldown is there, when you can start chaining moves together again. It's such a clever little elegant thing in a game full of clever little elegant things.
Definitely. So yeah, this should be. We're just getting our feet wet here, but it's going to be a lot of fun to see who can get. Whoever gets as far up the mountain wins. If they if they get to the top of the mountain, they're the winner and we're done. So we're going to see what happens. I mean, they both. I think they have the ability to do that in 2 hours, but we're going to see. Maybe crowd control. It's up to you guys to make that not happen. So we're going to find out.
Yeah, and that mountain actually named Celeste, which I did not realize when the game first came out. It's sort of a Frankenstein is the doctor, not the monster kind of thing. Celeste is not the character. Celeste is the mountain.
Yeah, and Cheese is now dealing with that zoomed in screen as a zoom camera for 30 seconds that lasts. So if you want to have Cheese deal with that even longer, you know what to do. Get your crowd control on, my friends. Now he's getting the also he's getting the laughter, which is a nice taunting laughter for 15 seconds, which is always fun. You guys are having a lot of fun already.
I know, right? I like the character saying clearly voicing exactly what's going through Cheese's mind while the zoom is happening. It's pretty brutal. I mean, it's a particularly bad game for that.
Yeah, my confidence in someone finishing is getting less and less as the seconds roll by, as we're dealing with this zoom camera. There is no hope of continuing right now for PointCrow. He just has to wait it out.
I mean, we're just not going to, at this rate, we're just not going to see as many of the advanced mechanics. You know, It's just like, how are you supposed to string them together? How are you supposed to do like hypers and stuff? Like, you can't do it while it's zoomed in. The hyper will take you more than the length of the entire screen, for crying out loud.
Yeah, he's still dealing with that. And now he's changed to battle line, and now his screen is unzoomed. And now, what are we going to see here on Cheese? It's such tough to keep track of things. We got the evil character. Someone just spawned in. What's his name? Oshiro, I think. Oshiro, I believe, is his name.
Yeah.
And he's just trying to get at you as the best he can, and that is very annoying to play with in the actual stage he's supposed to be in, but putting him in random stages is even harder.
Yes, and we're moving slowly, and there's a giant ghost balloon trying to eat us. Yeah, sure. Why not? This is brutal. This is kind of hard to watch, but I kind of appreciate that they're really soldiering on. As you mentioned, PointCrow still grinning most of the time.
It is. I mean, they chose this game too, guy. I mean, they chose this game. They had their choice of games. I'm not sure the conversation went there, but they chose to do this, and we're gonna see if that was a smart choice or not. I mean, we'll see what they think after this. But so far, it's been pretty brutal, and we're less than 10 minutes in.
We're less than 10 minutes in, and we're having trouble keeping up ourselves, so please bear with us, chat, because this is even crazier when you have to actually talk about it. My God. But look, now we're speeding up, and you'd think that would be good, but again, it doesn't look like that's the case. No, it looks like it's actually really, really difficult not to die 5 or 6 times in 5 or 6 seconds, it looks like.
There we go. We got our first laugh from Cheese. Nice to see that, even though he is dying about 20 times, but it's nice to see.
It's a funny way to die. Like, I'm hearing the Benny Hill theme music in my head while we're flying around this board here. So it's a good way to die. If you gotta die at like 5 times speed.
Exactly.
So we're invulnerable too, I think. I think that's one of the things
right now. You can do nice things as well, chat. It doesn't have to be all evil. If you're feeling generous, you can do some nice things for these guys as well. And we just glossed over this backtrack. We just missed it. We just crossed the $6,000 mark.
Goodness.
Thanks, guys. Chat, you are truly legendary, and you're helping a lot of people further their education. That is awesome. So let's see how high we can get that number today. You guys have always been so awesome today. So
yeah, Shivaxi, $100. Mini, that one's a little easier. $20. Tiddly Tut, okay, that's fun. $20. Abby Bagel, 25, and Anonymous for 5. And you are right, over 6,000. Now, when you say the chat can be generous too, I just gotta ask respectfully. Did you see the previous 6 hours at all?
Yeah, I did see it. I said chat likes to see some bad things happen. And the different about this game we should talk about is from Super Mario 64. I mean, it was a lot of fun stuff. Let's make Mario be a fish. I mean, that's kind of fun. In this game, there's less fun options. It's more,
right.
There's not so many just like, let's change Celeste to something nice. It's not really like that here.
No, it's not. And again, even the buffs are kind of messing them up. Someone gave Cheese speed, and he was really hard to reckon with. It's you kind of nudge the stick forward, and you're dead.
As we see that Cheese just finished the Chapter 1 Forsaken City, he will now enter the old site and entering Chapter 2. So, hey, that's a lead. He is in the lead, it's safe to say, but I don't know how much that means right now.
Yeah, I don't know either, but we do have our first clear, and that's something. And you could see both runners sort of struggling with all the craziness right off the bat. And I do expect them to get a little better though, because like when something triggers, they're gonna know, okay, here's how I deal with this. If I'm super fast, obviously I just have to be very cautious about that. If I'm invulnerable, I need to take advantage of that while it lasts. Blah blah blah. So I think we've probably seen the worst of it. I think they're gonna get a little better as they go, and we'll see a few more clears. But it is really telling that these are two really good runners, and it took about 10 minutes for us to get that first clear.
So it looks like Cheese is dealing with Mr. Oshiro again, and he is also, indestructible. So he's kind of getting helped and hurt at the same time. It's not affecting him now. Now he's figured it out, so he's just running as fast as he can through this thing.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, that it's going to be a surprise to them as well. I will say, PointCrow still in the first stage, not smiling at the moment. Seems significant.
The initial jubilance worn off. We're going to find out.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's got their limit here. He seems like a cheery fellow, but let's get real here.
Yes, and I mean, that's what I expected. I mean, I think, not to call this one too early, but I think Cheese is the favorite, I would say. I mean, having speedrun the game, that's a huge advantage. So, Chad, if you're looking for someone to, a little, I don't want to say the word hurt, but hurt more than help, maybe you might want to look on the right side of your screen.
Yeah, he does have the lead, and he does have a little more, as far as we can tell, speedrunning experience with this particular game. Yeah, and that's significant, right? Having played it even a little bit in this context is probably going to help you a lot.
As Cheese does meet Badline for the first time in the actual game story. I mean, not how much that matters now, but there is a nice story to this game too.
we kind of broke that seal a little early on by throwing her into the first stage immediately. Yeah.
yeah. Yep. That is true. I think it's
the story.
He still is indestructible. It looks like this is lasting a long time.
And he's really taking advantage of it now, too, actually. Like, in the first stage, I think there was a little bit of, what do I do with this? Still getting my feet wet, still getting my bearings. But now, as soon as he senses, as soon as he notices, hey, I didn't die when I landed on those spikes, he just kind of goes ham right afterwards.
PointCrow just became, as you see, you cannot see him on the screen right now. He is invisible. So thanks to that person out there that did that to him. That'll last 30 seconds.
I mean, in this game, being invisible is basically like, okay, you die.
Yeah, or just you have to stay still for 30 seconds. I mean, I don't know. I'd like to see someone try it. I'm sure, as I say that, I'm sure it's on YouTube right now. I search it. Beating Celeste invisible is probably there, but
yeah, I mean, like,
hard work.
He's noticing that, like, if he gets hit, he blinks a little bit, or if he kind of, like, dashes forward or demo dashes or something, it leaves a little trail behind him, Kind of like that old trick where, you throw water on the invisible man and now you can see his outline. Like, he's trying. He's valiantly trying to keep this going, and he didn't really get very far, but he didn't give up. He didn't just wait it out, He kept it going.
Okay, Troy Vathman's coming in hot with the knowledge there. So when you stay still, invisibility does turn off. So that's something good to see. Make it possible to complete, to at least advance the game. So that's probably a good idea. Creators of crowd control, epic ones you are, as PointCrow does finish that first chapter of the Forsaken City with 34 deaths.
Yeah, that is kind of a lot, I'm going to say, even as not being positive how many deaths are normal. And that's about 4 or 5 minutes, I think, behind where Cheese was when he finished it. But, chat can turn, as you say. Chat has a way, I think, they have their favorites sometimes, but sometimes, if chat doesn't have a clear rooting interest, they're just going to hamper whoever's ahead, too. So I feel like leads are very fragile while chat is feeling fickle.
Yes. As you can see, yes, now the chat is definitely helping Cheese a lot more than helping PointCrow. So PointCrow fans, now is your time to stand up and fight for this injustice and make as PointCrow is now going in slow motion. So
they're like, nah, we're good. Nah. Or just fans of drama. And as casters, we are always fans of drama. So you forgive us if we are pretty much always by default rooting for whoever happens to be behind.
Yeah, so that's actually the thing he's dealing with now is the slowed down time. That's on the last 30 seconds as well, as most of these do. Some last 15 seconds as well. And again, just a reminder, you can click on your screen. It's the wrench will tell you the things you can add or add this, make this all more fun, right? A lot of options there. So go check that out if you're interested in doing some crowd controlling yourself. I like that verb you created earlier, Track. Yeah, crowd controlling, and I think there's a reason it's a wrench. It's sort of a saying, if you want to throw this object in there, throw a wrench into things. This is where you go. So we're going to see how this turns as Cheese is now dealing with slowed down time as well. So we're dealing with 2 slowed down screens here.
And, it's the slowdown is not always bad. Like in a room like this where almost everything is covered by spikes, you can kind of benefit from it a little bit, actually.
Yeah, definitely. For more difficult screens, it seems like it would be a help. But as I say that, Track, you have many more donations to get to, so why don't you go ahead and get to those?
I do. It's a good problem to have. Oh, gee, let me see. We left off with Anonymous, $5. We pick up with Anonymous, $1. It's a race to the bottom over here from Anonymous. Feral Moss Goblin. God, the usernames have been so strong today. $20. Mina Ann 3 for $20. Velv for 5. Anonymous again for 5. Birdie for 30. And Anonymous 250. And I, just a lowercase I, for 20. Not me. I didn't do it. I.
Yes, that is awesome, guys. You are supporting very strongly right now. Thanks so much. You guys do a lot of good work, and hopefully enjoying yourselves watching these two legendary speedrunners go at it in this very, admittedly silly, but also very fun speedrun of Celeste, as they are both in state Chapter 2 now.
Chapter 2, silly, but for a good cause, and that's the best kind of way to do silly. Again, urban arts, and I really love there's one slogan of theirs: the quality of your education shouldn't depend on which neighborhood you grew up in. I think that's a great sentiment, and they are helping to make that right, getting underprivileged youth into game development, into computers. It's an industry, as I joked about earlier, that's probably not going out of style anytime soon. So I feel like computers might be with us. I think this internet thing is going to stick around. So it's a great program, and you guys are doing great things today with over $6,000 raised already. $6,200 now, actually. Some big round numbers coming into view again.
Definitely, as we see here. He's kind of methodically working his way through this level. I'm not sure if his invincibility is still there. Let's see. Did it finally wear off? It seemed like it was there for at least a few minutes. You guys are going nuts on the invincibility, but let's see.
I actually hadn't thought about that. So if you have the invisibility, you got to have a rough timer in your head, because otherwise it's just like, well, I'm going to jump on these spikes and we'll see if my internal clock is any good.
Yeah. He just kind of tested it there. Good place to test it right when the screen started. That is, in this game, the beautiful thing is, just like Super Meat Boy, when you die, you respawn almost instantly. So as his screen just gets zoomed in very close there, this is tough.
It's really tough, and there's just no way. Like, some of these jumps you see, you just can't line them up properly. You can't memorize the whole stage beforehand. It's not that kind of game. This actually is pretty close to a standstill for 30 seconds kind of thing.
On this, there were certain screens, I guess, it would be different, but this screen, he's still going to go at it here. And he's making a valiant effort so far, but there it is, another death here. As PointCrow, I want to, hesitatingly, as I hesitate, I will say, he is catching up a little bit, I think it's very safe to say.
Yeah, I think he is. And I think it's because he's getting comfortable with it, too. I think they're both looking pretty comfortable now. It's just that Cheese got comfortable, I think, a little faster.
Yep. And as you guys do not stop, Lip Potato 57 coming in hot with a $14. Anonymous, again, just will not stop for the $20. And Hello for $250. You guys are all stars of the highest order. Thanks so much for your donations, everyone.
One of the things I really like about the mechanics in this game is that you usually have like a stamina option and a no stamina option. So like you can kick off walls for free forever, but it's slow. But if you want to do the fast version, that costs stamina. Same thing with falling. You can fall, obviously not going to lose any stamina for falling, but you can fall fast if you want to for a little bit of stamina. Like the sheer number of options that they get out of so few buttons and arrows, it's really, really awe-inspiring.
There we go. Some kind soul out there gave PointCrow invisibility, so he is enjoying that as we speak right now. And yeah, Hiccup is an option. You should talk about. Hiccup is something that makes you do little tiny jumps. That's not very fun to play with. If someone wants to give that a shot, it's not very fun a mechanic to do. But yeah, if you're interested in how to use crowd control, I see the questions out there. Click on your screen. You should see a little wrench there, I believe. That'll kind of give you a little bit of a summary of how to do it. And I hope someone in chat can give that person more details, because, we want to get as many people involved as we can, because it is a lot of fun to affect what you are seeing on the screen.
I mean, I would say Hiccup here is about as much fun as having actual hiccups, which is to say not at all.
Yeah,
I mean, it's pretty, I'm sure you've had hiccups. They're pretty freaking aggravating, aren't they?
Yes.
These ones are too.
Yep, so this is a game that has 5 chapters, I believe, if my memory serves, 5 or 6. Let's see, I'm gonna check my notes here. Some of 7 chapters. So Cheese is coming to the end of chapter 2. We are 20 minutes in. Obviously, the difficulty ramps up pretty heavily from here on out. So I don't know, my mental timer, my mental gauge, I think we're about 50-50 on if Cheese finishes or PointCrow finishes. I don't know.
Yeah, and if they don't, of course, it's just progress. But if they finish on the same stage, it goes to sudden death. Whoever finishes the next one first, which I love. I have to root for that. Like, who doesn't love sudden death?
Yeah, I just want this to be as close as possible. That's what you want to see. And PointCrow is almost to the end as well himself. Let's see, his hat does have slowed down going on here, which is not necessarily a bad thing, as Track said.
I mean, it was funny because like he was actually he got really lucky before. He got slowed down, I feel like, in one of the rooms where it was actually particularly good, but he still had several deaths afterwards. I think it just threw him off too much. So I think he kind of got a break earlier with the slowdown and didn't really capitalize. And this one, I don't know. This is an okay room for it. At least it's wide open and he can see the whole layout. This might have been better, frankly, for one of the other debuffs, but oh well. We have no control over that.
So as Cheese is going to enter the Celestial Resort here, which is... This is where, for me, when I was playing myself with my very limited game or skills, the game got really hard. This is when it really steps up to being hard. And of course, for these legendary gamers, you won't see the same level of difficulty that I was dealing with. But we're going to see. I think this is where we might see the deaths count go up significantly, but we're going to see.
Up significantly from 34 on the first one, as you were saying.
Yes.
So that was the floor, is 34.
Yep.
Oh dear. Oh dear. I mean, yeah. Look, it's a high skill curve game, right? And this is the thing we really like about it is that it's easy to pick up and play right away. You don't have to know about all the advanced mechanics right away. The depth is there if you want it, but if you don't, it's a platformer, right? But we all know the depth is there, and these two players definitely know the depth is there.
Oh, Mr. Oshiro making an appearance on Cheese's screen, barely getting past there, but he's still coming.
Oh man, that is some nightmare fuel, my friend.
Yes. And there he takes a death here finally.
I'm sleeping with the lights on tonight. That's just, that thing is horrifying.
PointCrow, this is the time. He needs to be making some progress here.
And we've made it to, what, the information kiosk, I guess, for lack of a better description.
There we go.
And there's a whole army, a veritable army of battle lines coming our way.
How many deaths did we get there? 26 deaths there for Cheese. Let's keep an eye on that. When PointCrow gets to that same point, Track, I'm going to count on you to catch that and see how many deaths he had.
Got it.
26. Just for the fun comparison there. Not that it matters that much, of course.
No. I like it. I mean, the reset is so quick, right, as you said, so that the death count is more just like a general idea. But, and in particular, because PointCrow, you can see he went a very long time without dying there, but that's because he was kind of running backwards from the battle lines.
Yes.
So it was a long run and ate up a lot of time, but he didn't get any progress out of it either. But he also didn't die, so that can confound the numbers maybe just a little bit. But I still think as a general number, yeah, it's useful.
The game giving us a little message there. Be proud of your death count, it says.
Ah, yeah, no, sure. Sure. It works.
We got a few more donations, Track. If you want to go through those, go ahead.
Man, they're coming in much faster than before, frankly, and that's great. Lit Potato 57, guys, usernames, I love it. $14. Anonymous, $20. Hello for $2.50. Hello as well. Tim for $2. Okay, that one's pretty straightforward. And let me see. Uninteresting Chem Nerd, $20, and IK for $15. I know a lot of chem nerds. I play on a softball team with 5 different undergrads in chemistry, and let me tell you, they are all nerds. Yes, it's true. But they're not uninteresting, so...
There we go. I mean, don't want to call it too early, but I think we can... I mean, the goal of $8,000 looks big. I'd like to see we can easily get 6,500, 6,500 sounds pretty good. I don't know. We're going to see if we can get there. We have at least another hour and a half we're going to see. At maximum, we have 2 hours here for this race, so we're going to see how high we get that number here for a great cause, as PointCrow is loving it.
Yeah, it's really been impressive, and I mean, who knew? Who knew that when you let people mess with the broadcast and inflict pain on their favorite streamers, that it would bring all the money in? I don't know. I definitely learned a little lesson about humanity today.
Yes.
But like we said earlier, it's the dunk tank, right? It's the harmless harm that is the most fun, because you do it with no guilt. Yep.
What was better than at the school fair? I remember, gotta throw the dunk, pay your $3 to throw a ball at Mr. Sanderson, and that's exactly what we're doing here. So it's always fun.
Wow, look at this. This is just straightforward here from PointCrow. Nothing's going on at all. Now is when you want the sabotages, man.
Yeah, I'd like to see the speed there for sure.
No, chat knows what they're doing, man. I mean, their timing, when we were doing this earlier, their timing was really impressive on the Ocarina of Time stuff, which, fittingly enough. Okay, 22 deaths there for PointCrow.
Hey,
but let's say that's within the margin of error, right? That's a similar number.
Yeah, definitely. There you go. Be proud of your death count there, PointCrow. Doing well. These dust bunnies are wreaking havoc on this. This is where the stage has got really tough for me again.
I mean, yeah, you can't have anything on you there. It's just not going to work. Maybe the slow motion, right? Although, hang on, no, wait, it's just you, right? They don't slow down.
Yeah. So, oh no, I think it slows down times. They would slow down too.
Okay, well then in that case, it would actually be a buff. I think.
Yeah. Oh, Cheese has win. There you go. Thank Troy of Athens coming in hot. Another awesome caster here for GSA in the chat, helping us out massively.
Speaking of massive, Anonymous, $500 in one big swoop, and we are at 67.70 and 50 cents, just a couple hundred away from 7,000, on our way towards that 8,000 goal. That is the next milestone.
Wow, Anonymous is coming in hot for sure, as Cheese is now dealing with these dust bunnies in this celestial hotel.
Nicely done. $20 again from Anonymous. So they are really rolling in now, guys. This is inspiring stuff. We are on the cusp of 6,800 now.
Yeah, that $8,000 goal looks, looks a lot more reasonable. Yeah.
It really is. It really is, especially if they want to keep, inflicting harm. And why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you want to?
Yeah.
And to be perfectly honest, they're dealing with it well enough that I think that itself is a reason to keep doing it. It's like, well, they can handle it. They're showing that they can handle some of this. They're doing pretty well. So I say throw more at them.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Now we're seeing Mr. Oshiro, by the way, in his, I don't know, true form is the word, but his non-crazy form track, if you want to get a look at him. Cheese just was talking to the little guy in the green sweater. So he's an interesting character before he turns crazy at the end. He's going to turn crazy in a minute, so.
Yeah, I'm not sure I like any of these forms, to be honest with you. I don't know about that. Green sweater, you don't fool me.
Yep.
I mean, the visuals are pretty excellent. I always love seeing. We talked about this a little bit on the Eon Drive tournament that the GSA did, which obviously reminds me quite a bit of Celeste and the speedrunning and the mechanics and all that, and what you can do with the smaller pixel count, right? When you limit yourself to it, the kind of the creativity you get with color and lighting, and you can see Celeste has really done a lot with that. It's very evocative for such a low-bit game.
Yeah. Eon Drive was definitely took a lot of notes from this game for sure, and it came out very effectively. I think that game's a lot of fun too, and it's definitely in the same vein of this kind of, learn the mechanics. If you master the mechanics, that's how you master the game, and it's a lot of fun. Both these games. As we see here, Mr. Oshiro again for Cheese here.
No. I mean, I feel like it's one of the tougher things to contend with. It looks like, other than invisibility, maybe the zoom. I say they're all equally bad, but this one is really tough because it's just constant.
Yeah, it just depends on the room setup is so important for him. We're going to see what happens here. Cheese is making some steady progress, though. Very safe to say. He's working his way through here.
Yeah, I mean, every time I look over, even if he's dying, you could tell he's getting a little better. He's sort of just figuring it out each time. He's basically getting, as you like to say about Super Mario Maker 2, the lore, right? But in this case, the lore is being crafted on the fly. It's literally, how do I get through this room with the constraints put on me by a sadistic chat? But he is figuring it out consistently. When it's possible, he's figuring it out. With PointCrow, we're seeing a little more deliberation. We're seeing a little more, I'm going to stop and really take my time with this and talk it out and think it out and all that. And that works for him, right? But Cheese just has more raw speed.
Oh, look, now PointCrow was dealing with zoomed in and invisibility. That was a tough little segment there. And the person that actually set up the giant Mr. Oshiro was Jason from the charity. So he's no slouch in causing pain himself.
Yeah, part of the problem.
Yeah.
Part of the problem. What's funny? When you think about it, though, that combination, zoomed in and slow, it's better because if it's zoomed in, you know with much more precision where you are on the screen because you're taking up more of the screen. So it kind of counteracts it just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Just a tiny bit. I mean, it's still really bad. But if you're going to be invisible, I think you'd rather be zoomed in. Maybe. I don't know what this red stuff is on the floor. Does anyone more well-versed in the game want to tell me? It looks horrifying.
Dust bunnies, I believe.
It's all just dust?
yeah, dust from the old hotel that you're supposed to clean up.
Oh.
That's what you're going to see Cheese doing here in a second. It's kind of cleaning up the hotel for the aforementioned Mr. Oshiro.
Wow, this is a lot of dust, and it's a little more murderous than the dust in my house.
Yes, that's true. That's a good
I'm a little behind on dusting, but I'm not worried either.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So I'm looking through the options of what you guys, Legendary Chat yourselves, can do. I'm trying to see if we haven't seen anything. I mean, we've seen most of it. I'm trying to, not trying to convince anyone to do anything crazy. Like, pick one of these options. I'm seeing the options here, so. Yeah, it's tough to. I wish there was I kind of wish we could see when they hit it on, because it's kind of tough.
Right.
Some of these stuff, I know they're doing it, we can't tell. Like when ice physics is tough to see at a game like Celeste, where you're sliding down the wall and stuff anyway, naturally. So, but yeah, I think we've done almost everything, but we'd love to see more, of course.
Yeah, and it's hard to see unlimited dashes because, we're not going to be able to monitor their stamina in real time across 2 different screens. So, and I talked about that earlier, right? Like if you're invincible and it's been 15 or 20 seconds, how much do you want to push your luck and jump onto the spikes again? Maybe you don't. Maybe you just want to say, I'm positive for about 15, 20 seconds I've got, and after that, I'm going to play normal and hope I don't die. Same thing with unlimited dashes. Are you just going to notice, oh, wow, my stamina's back up already? If the runners knew too, it would actually inform their strategy. Also, they should be a fish.
Yeah, there should be
just that. I want a fish.
Yeah. Yes, less little funny sprite shenanigans options in Celeste for sure. More about just causing literal pain, difficulty in finishing the game. So you pick your poison here. Hopefully you got the fun out in the previous game. Yeah.
I mean, like change the character. That'd be great. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. Oh, so serious. Such a serious game. Not nearly as silly. I mean, except for the murderous dust. That's a little silly.
Yeah, that's where I draw the line.
That's
As I draw the line. You guys aren't drawing the line on donations. Let me get to those. Anonymous has popped off for a 500 as track set, a 20, another 20, and another 20. And in between all that, Dan Mitchend dropped another 20 herself. So thanks so much for that. You guys are doing incredible on the donation side of things. Changing a lot of people's lives, my friends. Thanks so much.
Yeah, and making better games in the future. You're not going to see them for a little while, maybe, but I don't know. The industry moves pretty quick right now. It would not surprise me. But at some point in the future, there will be a game, I think, made by one of these students, and some of the people in chat will play it. And whether they remember or not, whether they know or not, they will have been part of making that game become reality.
Definitely. And here is the normal size Mr. Oshiro there, the ghost of it, the head of it, the size of his head is that size normally. But you guys can choose the giant one, so that's why it's much bigger than you normally see in the game.
Oh yeah, he looks so mild-mannered, but I'm not fooled. I am not fooled. Oh, look at me, I wouldn't hurt a fly. Oh yeah, sure you wouldn't.
So, yep, and as both of our players now are tasked with cleaning up this hotel, and now it's PointCrow to get the books cleaned up, as Cheese is now working on the towels and other materials there.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the story earlier. I know it's about the creator's anxiety and issues with anxiety. So, I mean, it's kind of clever, right? They find ways to weave like household chores into game mechanics in a pretty elegant way. I mean, there've been a lot of games about that sort of thing, and most of them it is just about it, right? It's a little more story focused. But in this one, you don't have to know any of that. Just like you don't have to know the lore, you don't have to know the advanced mechanics, but it's there if you want it. There's a story there and a lot of cleverness in the world design.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's not, they don't hit you over the head with it, right? But you got to kind of, the nuance is there for you, for those that look for it, right?
I mean, if you're playing this game or whatever, and you're like, I wonder why there's a washing machine in the background, you can find out. I would be curious if I saw one like that the first time.
Ah, there's a snowball. I was waiting to see a snowball. I know someone's done it before, but Cheese is now dealing with snowballs. It will seem almost mild compared to the giant Mr. Oshiro head.
But, because he's just a snowball that keeps coming. He's a snowball with a mind and a lot of unresolved anger issues.
So
man, I like the snowballs. I hope we see more of those.
Yeah, kind of a mild kind of annoyance, but they are something.
I think, there's another anonymous donation for 20, Lit Potato 57 again for 20, and Icosaplex again. I know, I think that's several donations for Icosaplex. $100, and that, yes it does, puts us over 7,000.
Wow, that jump from 6,000 to 7,000 took 33 minutes, my friend, so you guys are incredible. This is insane, guys. You are setting the world on fire right now as we enjoy these two legendary runners taking care of Celeste, with you guys hindering their progress in every way you can, for the fun of it, of course.
Yeah, and it's funny, even though they're maybe not as amusing as like Fish Mario or Wing Mario or whatever, on the other hand, they have a very tangible, immediate impact on the game. Like, you are causing the runners to die a lot more often. Okay, Mario's a fish. Well, he's still just jumping around as a fish for a while. It's amusing. But most of the time, they're not dying immediately because they're a fish. But they're dying a lot because of the things people are inflicting on them. That people are directly affecting the outcome here. And I guess that actually is more important to people. That is more interesting than just, haha, it's a fish.
That's one of those things where I expect it not to be funny one day, but it's still funny. Whenever he turns into a fish, it's like,
it really is
funny. Yes.
Every time I looked over, I was like, man, that's still funny.
It just always works. Turning someone to a fish. It always works.
I just want more fish, like different varieties of fish would be nice. Anonymous, $20 more. My goodness.
Yep. And yeah, that's good. I mean, this is just two different worlds. I mean, that's the beauty of crowd control, is like they made it so it works with many, many games. And yeah, these players chose this game, so they kind of could have expected what they're getting into, and they wanted the challenge. So I talked to Cheese, and I can tell you, he was not confident in his skills and how it's going. So I wonder how he thinks it's happening right now, as he does take a little break here. Gonna maybe work on baking a potato or something. We don't know what he's doing. He's coming back quick. Changing headphones? We'll see.
I mean, he's got the zoom, and you could see that he basically made the decision once he came into the room to just be like, okay, I'm going to wait this one out. I don't think we've actually seen that yet. I don't think we've seen someone straight up just take off their headphones and go, nope, not doing it.
There you go. Okay, so he's back in the game now. Nope, not happy with those either. He has an array of headphones there at his disposal, it appears, as it gets zoomed in again. He is going to sit.
Take another break, bud. Yeah. you can't hyper in this. I can't hyper under these circumstances, and he stays in his trailer.
Headphones off now. This is something we've never seen.
Real serious.
I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to read too into facial expression and stuff. I always did too much in my Super Mario Maker 2 casts. I do, but he is not looking too. I don't want to word the word I'm looking for. Not too confident right now. I think it's safe to say.
Yeah, but the movement is like, look at him zoomed in. He's actually flying through it. I wonder if that's just intensity you're seeing, maybe.
Yeah, you never know. He's obviously playing well. He's definitely ahead, and yeah, that could be all intensity.
I mean, I was surprised. Like, I figured he was going to sit that out again, and it looks like he just said, no, I'm not sitting out another one, because he realizes that if he sits out every timeout, every kind of zoom like that, then chat's just going to pound him with that, like, over and over and over again. Like, it can't be automatically he sits out. Otherwise, it's just a free delay every time chat wants it. And you can't give chat that kind of power. You can't give the internet that kind of power. We know how that ends.
Yep, so there we go. Cheese has cleared out the last of the things they have to clear out. PointCrow still needs to clear out those books, and he can move on. I can say again from my chat with Cheese, he wants to win. These kind of charity events, they're all fun, and of course you have a little feeling you want to win. But I always wonder, is the point just to have fun or what? No, I want to win. He really does want to win, and I think maybe that's why this game was chosen, because he thought he'd be more confident in this game. I don't know, but he wants to win. I can promise you, chat, he wants to win. So you can help him or hurt him in that goal.
Yeah, I mean, competitive people, they can't turn it off, right? It's very true in things like esports. They dedicate so much of their lives to this. It's how they think, and it's the only way they can be good at it. And you can't just flick a switch and say, well, it's for charity, no big deal. It's like, no. I mean, people care about the reputation. They know a lot of people are watching. A lot of people are trying to mess with them, which maybe makes them dig in their heels even more, because now you're trying to beat the whole crowd, trying to take you down. It doesn't turn off that easily. The competitiveness is always there, even in a charity event. And frankly, that's what makes the charity event fun too. If they're messing around too much, it'd be like, well, hey, we came to see some top level players here. We came to see the skills. And so I, for one, am really happy that they stay competitive like that and give us a show, because it's really, really interesting watching them kind of power through these detriments.
Yeah, and that's why I love for me, when it's a solo player does crowd control, it's not as interesting as this, because it's kind of like, oh my god, chat's messing with me while I'm earning money. It's kind of like, I don't like that kind of dissonance there. But when you have a competitive aspect, it's like, the crowd can control who is getting the good things, who's getting the bad things. It's more of it's kind of like you're against chat. You're really against chat, unlike when it's just a solo streamer that's earning money from all these crowd control things. They have to kind of pretend that they don't like it. But here in this case, it's the perfect situation for me, because it's for a charity, so it all goes to a good cause, and the players have to kind of overcome this challenge that is you in chat. So that's kind of fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's like genuinely adversarial a little bit, but in a fun way. It's kind of like a subathon, though, where like every time they get a new sub, they add another 5 minutes to some marathon 24-hour stream. And obviously, at the beginning, they're like, oh, this is great. I'm getting a lot of new subs. I'm making money. Fantastic. But after around hour 20, they're like, okay, seriously, though, guys, stop subscribing.
Yeah.
It's a little like that. And you actually are, quote unquote, getting something for your money at that point, because you kind of are adversarial with your own chat, which creates a very fun dynamic.
Yeah. And as we see, Anonymous won't stop. 2 more $20 donations from Anonymous. You guys are unbelievable. And Nina Ann 3 with a $10. Thanks so much, guys. Again, this is really eye-opening and shocking in the best of ways. You guys are going nuts.
And we've heard that name before, Mina Ann 3 earlier as well. So you're seeing a lot of repeat donations. You see, what that tells me is that people dip their toe in and throw a snowball or something, and they're like, okay, that was more fun than I expected. I think I'll buy another.
Yep, so here we go with Cheese. Almost nearing the end of this one, this chapter 3.
Yeah, maintaining that lead, but I don't think it's grown very much either, though. I think it's like both players have settled down, have gotten more comfortable. Cheese just got there about 5 minutes earlier, and I feel like 5 minutes is probably still close to the margin.
Now Cheese is invisible, which is always fun to watch. You can see where you are on the wall, and you can see yourself when you stand still, as Troy pointed out earlier, but that's about it. So you can see him right there. This has got to be tough, but he's doing well so far.
That Oshiro is so rough. It's so rough.
He had invisibility going. He's invisible and invincibility, and now it's off. So this is something. We are watching madness happen here.
Please, chat, don't make us say invincible, invisible too many times.
I'm tired of that word. Yeah, I need new
Come
words.
on, guys. Now we're adversarial with the chat.
Yes.
Good lord.
All right, so PointCrow does get the books taken care of.
Sorted. I've never hated reading so much in my life.
Jesus, leaning in here. You can see he is hyper-focused now.
He really is, and he's not being deterred by the detriments. Like, he's invisible, and he's just going. He's like, screw it. I don't care. I'm just going to do it.
Where PointCrow laughs. Yeah, PointCrow's the kind of person that says, oh my god, I'm invincible. You know, it's funny to him. He takes the humor side of it as he's fighting through the difficulty. But Cheese is like, all right, I'm leaning in. I got to get through this. This chat is setting this my way. I'm taking care of it.
Right, because again, like, if he's too defeated by it, they're going to figure out, oh, he hates this thing in particular. And I don't know if your friends are at all like this. When you tell them, hey, so this really bothers me, what do? They do more of it, right? Never let them know what you hate. And look at him just flying across there. Yeah, so it's the same thing. You cannot let chat know that you're always going to skip something or that you really hate something because they will pummel you with it. So you have to plow through it, and he's doing it, and he's doing really well. There's the chapter complete right there. I can't wait to see the deaths here. You know, deaths being good.
Yeah, infinite stamina there really helped out on that screen. He could just zoom, just endlessly, dash get through there. So that was someone helped him out very largely there.
26 again.
There you go.
The exact same number.
You can see it. So that's the mark where Cheese is now at 41:30 about. Let's see how far behind PointCrow is when he gets to that point, because it might be a little bit of a split here. I think PointCrow has at least 5 or 6 minutes there.
I mean, he's what's really striking me about Cheese is not only is he powering through the tough ones, but he's noticing the good ones so fast because, like you mentioned, like he was just dashing constantly. You know, he's varying his play based on what's being done to him or for him, just very, very quickly. He's very quick to adapt to it, and right now that's the difference.
Yeah, and he definitely has infinite dashes again here. Infinite stamina, I should say, again here for a little. At least that screen. Let's see if he has it still.
PointCrow is genuinely taking his time, although he is, going in slow motion here. So, part of that is it's not exactly optional. I probably shouldn't go like, wow, man, he looks really sluggish over there. But, he got through it. He didn't die, right? Like, I think he's realizing steady progress is going to work all right for him. But we can see Cheese on the other side, and we realize that he's making much steadier progress. So right now, PointCrow, he probably doesn't know it, but he does need to take more chances.
Oh, yeah. Yep. And Cheese is in the Golden Ridge now, which is the level where the game is supposed to introduce wind. Of course, you guys can give him wind earlier than that, and you already have. And the green bubbles come into play, where they kind of send you whichever direction you're pushing when you get into them. So, obviously not a problem for someone to speedrun the game, but that is the mechanics you're supposed to be dealing with as a normal player in this level.
Yeah. And is he going out of his way to get the strawberries?
I wonder. Maybe he's just testing what he has here, because he definitely has infinite stamina again there.
Well, I guess if you have it. Yeah, there's the wind, and yeah, it's, oh yeah, wind. Yeah, like I wasn't facing that on level 1 because of the evil chat.
Yep.
It's such a cool mechanic, though, and that's what I like about this, is like the mechanics are very simple, and they throw in something very simple, but it has ripple effects, through all the moves you want to do.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it builds on itself, and it's a beautiful difficulty curve for me. It's just every level gets a little bit harder. They introduce more stuff, but it's not like it's fair. That's the best way to put it. It's fair. You can control your character exactly the way you want it, and if you mess up, it's your fault.
Yeah, right. And that can freak you out a little bit at first to have that level of precision, but in the long run, it's a lot more satisfying, certainly, when it's not being actively sabotaged.
Yeah. That PointCrow now is having... Looks like he had invincibility for a second, but then it went away. Let's see.
I really feel like Oshiro's laser eyes are just like one thing too many. Like, he's already flying across the screen and eating you, and then he's got laser eyes too.
And PointCrow has to do this all while being invisible, which is
yeah,
not
all
fun.
being invisible. Oshiro can still see him, but he can't see himself, which, you know, I'd be fine if neither of them could see him. It kind of makes me think of Superman. Superman has like 4 different superpowers, right? Like, I always felt like the laser vision was like, come on, he doesn't need that. It's one thing too many. He's already indestructible. He can fly. This guy does not need lightning eyes or whatever it is he's got. He's not Pikachu, for crying out loud.
Yeah. It looks like, there's no kill option in this. Oh, kill player, there is the kill player option. I'm not sure if anyone's used that. Have we seen that yet, if I missed it?
I mean, the deaths are so frequent. Yeah, the deaths are so frequent that it wouldn't matter, and I don't think it would be a good use of your coins, to be perfectly honest. Like, it's just boring. It's like, why not hurl a snowball?
I think the toughest would be invert D-pad, personally. I think that's got to be brutal. I mean, that's got to be like, I can't play. I mean, I can't. I just give up. Put the controller down. but
I mean,
these guys might try it. We don't know. I wish we could tell them to wink at us when they get inverted D-pad, but...
Right. Signal the inverted D-pad.
That's got to be tough. So chat, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I want to see that. So.
Yeah, we're not saying invert their D-pads. We're just saying, wouldn't it be a shame if?
And as with the beautiful transition track, you have something beautiful to read in the form of donations.
I do. It's Abby Bagel again, $20. Anonymous again, $10. Joyce Haspania, I think, for 5, and Anonymous again for 10. And if you're thinking that's adding up, you're right. It's 7,100 now, and 550 just for good measure. But we are creeping our way up, and 8,000 looks very much within reach here.
Yep, and we are going to see how far we can get up this mountain as well, which, I don't know. Can we get up to the top of this thing? I wonder. They're making okay progress. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're kind of going back and forth here, right? Which is to say, we're like, oh, I really hope we get to the top of the mountain. And they're like, I also really hope we invert their D-pad. And I feel like those are mutually exclusive goals.
Oh, brutal. PointCrow dealing with 2 Mr. Oshiro's there.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, that's just too much. Come on.
I don't always read chat, but I have to this time. Just turn controller upside down. Yeah, that's how you fix the D-pad problem. I don't see any downside here, do you?
That's why I'm not a pro gamer. I just don't see those answers that quickly.
That's sort of lateral thinking, my friend. It's pro strats. Turn the controller upside down.
Now PointCrow has slowed down time, which might be a win here for this stage.
Oh, on the block. Cheese was on the block, and someone flipped the screen back. The timer ran out on the flip in the middle of it. That could have been really bad, but he kind of got it at a better time there.
She's now invisible, as you can see, with the strawberry just floating along there.
He's now invisible, as you can see. Yes.
Yeah. My best quote line ever.
I could hear the kappa coming off your voice there.
Hey, this just waited out situation here for Cheese. I think that's what we're going to see. Now we're going to give it a shot. Invisible in this level is tough. The wind is blowing in your face, and that just wears out. So that's a tough one.
I mean, it might be for PointCrow, too, because he's invisible, and there were, like, multiple Oshiros going at him at once. And I feel like chat, just all of a sudden, the coins were burning a hole in their collective pocket, and they just went totally nuts all at once. There's a chapter complete for PointCrow. He's clapping. He's still pumped. His spirit is undiminished despite 64 deaths.
And how far... I made a mental note of it, but that mental note has now been thrown in the trash. What time did Cheese finish that chapter? How much time was on his clock? I forget. I think 35? 41 maybe? I think that's called better.
That sounds close. I want to say it was low 40s, yeah.
Chat always has the best memory, though, so I'll count on them maybe to pull me out of this hole here in my memory, but...
I mean, the hive mind always wins, it's true. But I do think, to take your point, I think that means that the gap is a little wider than it was. Not a lot, but a little. I think he's not gaining on him yet.
Yeah. 41 Black Ops coming in hot. Thanks, Black Ops. Yeah, I knew you'd be there to help us out. 41, I think, too. I think 41 sounds right, but we're going to see. So that would be about a 7-minute difference here. So that's where we stand, guys.
And it was 5 or 6 before early on, so definitely widening that gap just a little bit.
But we still got a lot of game left. We got a lot of crowd controlling to yet endure. So this is the time, my friends. PointCrow. You want to help him make his comeback? Now's the time.
Yeah, I can't believe we're 15 minutes in already. It's so fast-paced. Like, there is always something happening here.
Yeah, this is a very, very engaged crowd controllers in chat. You guys are doing well. It isn't always like this, but it is now because of you guys. It's awesome.
It's a pretty energetic game when none of this is happening, but it's actually folding in better than I would have thought. I admit, sometimes crowd control works really well for a game, sometimes not as well, right? It's always fun, but some are a better fit than others. But I kind of like it. It folds in really naturally once the runners know what they're up against, right? Once there's no more big surprises, and once they have a chance after a few seconds to notice something and account for it. Because you can see PointCrow right now handling the slow motion reasonably well, because now he knows what's up, he knows how long it is, he knows how to compensate for it. Once they can get a little chance to adjust, I think it becomes a lot more fun, because then you mentioned like each new stage is like each new chapter layering in a new mechanic. That's all this is. It's just layering in mechanics.
Yep. And as we go here, PointCrow, just always positive. You gotta like it. His streams are the same exact way. He was always a positive person to watch, and he's having a lot of fun. He may be having the most fun here of anybody.
We joked earlier that the point was not to hurt a streamer, the point was to break their spirit. You've got your work cut out for you with PointCrow, but I don't even know if I want to root for it. I don't want to live in a world where PointCrow isn't smiling.
Yeah. And yeah, Chad, is you pointing out that's a good point. Like I said earlier, I think Cheese is definitely a favorite because he speedrun this game, but he is showing that maybe he has forgotten some of those skills and maps for sure. Not the smoothest of runs here. There's a vast difference from the runner that did the speedrun that's on the leaderboards. That version of Cheese's run is definitely gone. Of course, crowd control is making it more difficult as well. But
yeah, I mean that Cheese was done 15 minutes ago. His best is about 35. We got another $20 from Anonymous, by the way. So we are still creeping up there. We are over 7,100.
Wow, that's crazy, guys. You guys are setting UAP. You're making UAP very happy, and that makes a lot of future students happy. So that is the most important point, my friends.
Yeah, I'll tell you who PointCrow reminds me of. There's a football player named Hines Ward who out here in Pittsburgh who's retired now, and he was famous for, he'd get just like nailed, right? Just tackled to the ground, real hard hit, but he always popped up smiling. It was sort of that, like, I don't want them to think they're getting to me kind of thing, right? I always look happy no matter what. That's PointCrow right now is what I think, is like he's just gotten totally decked by chat again and again and again, but he's still smiling. Don't let him see that they're getting to you, man.
Crack pulling out the very risky move of a football reference in a gaming stream, but we're not giving credit for it. I got the reference. I got it.
Right, esports and sports. I know they're one letter apart, but they could not be further apart for most people.
There's no combination there. There's no combination. But
football,
just kidding.
what's that?
Yeah. But yeah, as we get back on the ranch here, Cheese making his way up here. Crow invisible again. It looks like the anti-Crow sentiments are getting a little bit louder here, not the positive. Go PointCrow fans. Come on, guys. PointCrow fans, he needs your help right now, not your hindrances.
Yeah, help him or her. Cheese works just as well. I'm not sure. You know, I got to be honest. If I were a PointCrow fan, and I'm becoming one as we speak, even though I like both runners, they're both great guys. I don't know which would be better for him, to hurt Cheese or to help him. I think hurt Cheese probably, actually.
Well, let's look at it. What is a helpful thing here? There's not so much helpful in this game, to be honest. I'm looking at the options here myself. It's mostly all negative. You can do unlimited dashes, which definitely helps, and you can do no stamina would not be positive. Unlimited stamina is good too, but all the other things are negative. So really, we need to go negative on Cheese, my friends. Love Cheese as well. Great guy, but come on, he's been in the lead a little bit too long, I think.
It's not just that, too. It's like, as I mentioned earlier, PointCrow is like, he's got a steady pace of play. He's trying not to react to things too much, right? Whereas we see Cheese sometimes, he gets the infinite dash and he just goes nuts. And I feel like PointCrow does not want to vary his play quite as much in response to those things. So I feel like the buffs wouldn't help him as much. You know, it's going to be more about sabotaging Cheese.
Yes.
That's more fun anyway.
Yeah, with the utmost respect we say that, my friends. Yep. No favorites here. We just want height. The closest match possible. That's what I want to see.
I mean, it is when you figure all that's going into it, when you figure, you know, that Cheese has speedrun this before and was, you know, is still on the speedrun leaderboard, although a little lower than he was 3 years ago when he set the mark. Still reasonably close, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So PointCrow is coming out to play here, for sure. And as Cheese makes his way through, snowballs fighting his way and wind. But it doesn't look too deterred now. Laser focused Cheese as Mr. Oshiro. You guys have come and answered the call because there's a lot of negative things going on Cheese's stream right now.
Yeah, now I feel kind of guilty because I feel like we basically implored chat to do this, and they're like,
Yeah.
okay, oh boy,
Sorry.
okay, hang on. Donations, Birdie for $20, Anonymous for $420. That is a big one. That is like the 4th or 5th biggest donation in one big swipe that we've seen tonight. That is over 7,500 now. 8,000 getting very close.
Mind officially blown, my friend. We are 8,000 was a distant sign on the horizon. Now it is the street sign next door. We can get there very soon, my friend. So you guys are incredible.
That buys a lot of Oshiros. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yes.
I would use them all at once personally.
She's still dealing with snowballs, but he is laser focused here. Not taking it to heart here. He knows you guys are. That's what you're here for, is to make it harder for him, and he's just fighting through it like a true champion. And he has unlimited dashes right now, so he's taking full use of those as well.
Yeah, he really is. But they're on the same chapter now, which is nice, because for a while they weren't. For a while you could clearly see the difference, but now I feel like it's tightened up just a little bit. We'll know when we get some stage clears too. It can be a little hard to tell in the moment, of course, but I definitely see PointCrow, at least in terms of like play quality, definitely looking more comfortable.
There we go. Our first sign of triumph from Cheese.
Ooh, he
Feeling
looks
good
very
about
happy
himself
with this.
now.
Yeah.
He got through that screen very quickly, of course, with a lot of people's help out there. But wow, that was pretty good.
That's a little over 55 to the car there, to the cable car. So, for reference, we're going to see how many minutes behind PointCrow is. We're sure it's still minutes, definitely. But the question is it 5? Is it 6? Is it 10? It was about 8 last time. Last time we checked.
I'm writing it down this time too. 55 has been written down, so we'll know it when PointCrow gets there.
Definitely a little over. It was like 55-20 or something.
Yeah.
If you're busting out the ink.
Mm-hmm. There we go. As Cheese is going to enter Chapter 5 now, the Mirror Temple. And again, just another step up in difficulty here. I think that chapter took him. He had 43 deaths, which is a new high for him in this game. But that chapter didn't take very much time. It is a little bit shorter, but definitely less to do in that chapter.
No, 14 minutes. It took him 14 minutes.
There is the good old Theo there on Cheese's screen. We don't get to see any of the cutscenes here, of course. We were trying to go as fast as possible.
Yep. Story, what's that? We don't care about that here. PointCrow still got a couple of screens here at least to get through, so we know he's going to be at least a few minutes behind. The real question for me is that gap getting larger? Is it the same, or is it smaller? Like, we know he's behind, right? We know he's at least a few minutes behind. But if he were, say, 4 or 5 minutes behind, that would be a big makeup in time in this chapter in particular. And it looks like he's got the unlimited now too, and he is definitely making use of it.
He's also invisible, makes it a little bit harder. But
that really counteracts it, doesn't it? Jeez.
Now he's testing, see what he's just sort of go. Using the green bubbles here, dies again. This is a case where he might have inverted G controls, right? You think you want to go right, but then you go back to the left screen. I think he's probably dealing with that.
Yeah, because it happened a few times in a row, right?
Yeah, that's my guess. I wish we could. That's my one wish. Oh, reverse screen as well.
Oh,
you guys are being brutal. Come on.
Reverse screen and reverse control. So wait, does that net out to even? I'm not even sure. He rolled his eyes very comically there, and he's like, "Come on, come on."
And now zoom drain. Come on, guys.
Man. Oh, this is just a dog pile, man.
Yeah.
This is hard to watch. And I mean, it's literally hard to watch in that I literally can't see things.
Wow, we thought he had a chance to catch a little time, but look at him make it.
Oh,
if he
he's
gets through this. This is Gamer!
Baby.
Gamer!
Oh, freaking epic. Look at this.
Awesome. Look at this. What? Oh, Oshiro making an appearance. And then,
no. Not like this. Not like this.
You think he's invincible. He's invincible.
This is about to run out. He died.
That was
my
awesome.
God.
That was good content right there.
But you knew, he was trying to squeeze every second of that. He was like, this is about to end.
That was awesome. That was like reverse controls again, looks like. Let's see. He's screaming no in his chat, I believe. Wow, that was some... No. There was like 10 people saying, I want to help PointCrow, and there was 10 people saying, I don't want to help PointCrow, and they all just combined into this one mess, and that was a lot of fun. An
interesting chem nerd, another $5, and Anonymous again for another 20. We are getting really high. We are just shy. One more $10 donation will push us over 7,600. The numbers, they keep getting higher. They keep going up, it seems like.
They do that. Who wants to be the person to break that 7,600 mark? We're going to find out very shortly, I think, as PointCrow is still dealing with this chapter. Needs to get a move on here if he wants to catch up as Cheese just continues to advance in the next chapter of the game.
Yeah, it's been almost exactly now 4 minutes since Cheese cleared last time, and PointCrow is still working on this. He made a ton of progress with a ton of things on him there, because they were all counteracted by his aggression with that unlimited stamina. But now he's invisible, and I don't think he's slow anymore, at least. But the invisibility in particular, it seems to hamper him a little more.
Yeah. And I also think Chat sees is becoming a shark in the water here, sensing the blood of PointCrow, and they are leaning in to the hindrances here, and which is the fair play for sure.
Fair play, fair play.
Yeah, I think that is what's happening right now, because he's having a tough go of it because of you guys, and I think it's reverse controls again.
There it is. Yeah, every time he runs back the previous screen for no reason, that's why. And yeah, I think you're right. I think the natural predator, the crow, definitely the shark. I think that's definitely it. Blood in the water, right?
As Cheats looks to be having a nice little walk in the park on his side of the screen.
Yeah. Jeez.
I admittedly have not been watching that side of the screen for very long, as PointCrow was providing great entertainment. So we're gonna focus in on Cheese a little bit here, see how he's going with this chapter.
You know, the zoom in wouldn't be as bad now with this little spotlight effect. It's a little muted, or would be a little muted if he had, I think, anything on him. I don't think he has anything on him, like you said. Relatively unmolested here.
Yeah. Just enjoying a nice game.
He's just playing Celeste.
Yeah.
Which is one of our players is just playing Celeste. I mean, to be fair, I'm not saying he's been getting off easy. He was getting hit pretty hard before, but now he's getting a nice little break, and it's a pretty good chapter for it, I think, because this one is a little tough to go through quick anyway.
Oh, wow. PointCrow again is getting ganged on here.
Oh.
He does have it. I think he has unlimited jumps here. Yes, he does. So he's just zoomed in. It's so tough here. But he knows where he got to go. Top right of the screen here. He knows the goal. Got to use the green bolt. There he is. He does reach it.
Oh, no, reverse screen! Oh, brutal. The timing on that. The timing was so evil.
I said that. He knows where it is, the top right of the screen. And then the chat says,
I know.
You
had no idea you were setting it up so perfectly, did you?
No.
Oh, my goodness. That's excellent.
Wow.
Oh, Icosaplex again. Multiple donations tonight. This is another 100, too. That is over. So I said we were just coming up on 7,600 because if it's 100, now we're coming up on 7,700.
Yep. Wow, that happened very fast.
Very.
PointCrow's having a tough go, my friends. He is having a tough go at this level right now, thanks to you guys and your awesome donations. But it's been a tough go. And he has snowballs now. Come on, is there no end?
There's no end. There's no end. He's got to get through this stage. Now we know for a fact that he's at least about 7 minutes behind, which is where he was before. So if he finishes pretty soon, it'll mean that he's basically held ground since a couple of stages ago, which would be encouraging because it was going the wrong direction there for a little while.
I mean, he's dealing with those reverse controls. Now we have a better idea of when he's getting those, and he's dealing with them pretty well. I mean, that's impressive.
There we go. Anonymous with another $20, $7,710.50. We are over 7,700, and we are under 300 away from $8,000 for the UAP. Again, it's their School of Interactive Arts multi-year college prep program, teaches students the art and technology of video game development and computer science in general, and it teaches them everything that they need to know to create a career in the industry. They don't just teach them one thing and send them out the door. It is from the start to the end, holistic completely, as Electric was saying earlier. That's the word you want to use. And diverse too. 93% are students of color and 50% are young women, and that's how you get new, different, interesting games.
Yep, and for all different backgrounds, people from all different backgrounds making games what you want, as PointCrow did get into that cable car at 102. So what I wrote, it was 55 something. That's about 7 minutes difference here, my friends.
Yeah, I mean, this game designed by a woman, Maddie Thorson. So a fine choice is an example of the kind of games you can get, when the industry reaches out and brings new people into the fold, and you get, interesting new games. Like, frankly, this is a modern classic. I mean, the fact that it's such a big deal. We mentioned earlier that the other game we were casting, Eon Drive, is clearly inspired by it. Imagine that, inspired by a game that only came out a few years ago.
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Like that's how fast it moves now. It's an instant classic in that regard, and it's all the more impressive.
All right, so Cheese has to deal with a little bit of difficulty here. Zoomed in screen. Good job, chat. Trying to give him a little bit of a tough go about it. He was going so smoothly before.
Yeah, I think as much as chat may have their favorite or whatever, or not want to hit someone too much, at the same time, I feel like they know it's wrong when someone has nothing happen to them for a few minutes in a row.
Yeah,
right?
it seems to be that way. Yeah.
Yeah, like they're like, okay, well, I might love Cheese, like I might want Cheese to win, but 3 or 4 minutes without anything. I don't.
Yeah.
Nah, come on. Yeah, I think they get it.
I haven't seen Mr. Oshiro in a little bit, my friend. So just putting that out there.
You're
as
right.
well.
We saw a ton of that in the beginning, and it's kind of chilled out.
He's kind of taking a break. I'm not sure why, but.
PointCrow is slow again.
In a very long screen. Yep. He missed that. He missed the button.
Oh no! That is an unforced error. Oh dear.
You gotta push it with the red bubble there, and it's not happening for him. There you go. He got it.
There we go. He got it. He just missed it before. Like I don't know. That was just rough. I think at this point
reversed error thing.
You know what? You might be right. Yeah.
Yeah. That looked too easy to miss that up.
We mentioned earlier in Ocarina of Time that like certain things were happening so reliably at bad moments that it was so trolly that you could probably make the players just like flinch, right? Like anytime something came up, they were probably flinching, and they might be more surprised if something didn't happen. At this point, I gotta imagine there's a bit of a flinch here.
Yeah, definitely.
Like it gets suspicious, like nothing's happened to me in a minute or two. Uh-oh.
Both players dealing with slowed down time here. She's coming out of it now. Up snowballs on PointCrow's side, and there he is, Mr. Oshiro, making his appearance.
I kind of missed him. I can't believe it.
You learned
I can't believe
to love
it. I was so glad he was gone, and now I missed his laser eyes and his horrifying teeth.
Yep, and let me remind you, chat, you have 2 options there. You have Oshiro, the normal size, or giant size, so pick your pick. Pick your poison there, as it were.
What am I missing? Why would you not pick giant every time? There's got to be some trade-off, right?
I think only one can be on the screen at one time, but can we do a giant and a normal size at the same time?
I think we saw one, right? I know they were saying you can't just load them up, but I think you can do one of each simultaneously, because I swear I saw 2.
Yeah, but that was, I think, the screen where he's naturally there, right, in the game.
So
that's the key point.
Got it.
Someone was very smart and did that at the right time.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure you can do that any time.
There's got to be a trade-off, like in speed for the big one, because otherwise it's like, do you want 1 snowball or 30 snowballs? And it's like, well, yeah, give me the 30 snowballs, man. But is it slower? Is it easier to dodge? It's got to be something. Maybe no laser eyes. I don't know.
He is relentless nonetheless, whichever form he takes. And PointCrow is now, Cheese is making his way through his chapter. They're on the same chapter, of course, but Cheese is dealing with reverse controls. Yes, it looks like it.
Oh,
he is
he's
very
constantly
slowly
going back and forth.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to stop and think before every movement. It's just totally brutal.
Yeah.
Username's killing it, by the way. Necro Cookie Mancer for $10 and Anonymous for 20.
Well, getting ever closer, my friends. And Cheese is not yet making his way up this. This is the time. PointCrow friends, PointCrow's got to make his move now. Cheese has been on this screen for some time, but now he gets the straight up that he needs. But he's still going right back down.
Oh, man. I mean, we're definitely learning like which ones they're having more or less trouble coping with. You can see the reverse direction thing for PointCrow really, really messing with him a little bit. The invisibility a bit more too. Invisibility doesn't seem to hurt Cheese very much. He actually did pretty well with that. Someone
was nice and gave him the infinite dashes, and he got right through there in any case. Cheese making it through that stage. They gave him a little bit of trouble.
A little bit, but he's also like definitely benefiting from the infinite dash. Like he is all over that. It took PointCrow a little while. Again, that's the story, right? Is that like PointCrow's definitely settled in, but he's gone a little less aggressively throughout, and he took a little longer to figure out certain things, and that's why he's still, I think, about 7 or 8 minutes behind-ish.
Yep. Safe to stay on that one, about 7 or 8 minutes.
Just takes one really bad, really tough chapter, though, to do it. I mean, PointCrow is just dying. He's in a death loop. He's just like laughing. He's like, what do I do?
The snowball the snowball here is brutal. Just every knock snowball.
Oh, there we go.
Snowball dies. Wow, that was the person that gave the snowballs on that one got their money's worth for sure. Assuming they don't want PointCrow to be the champion of this experience we are having here, Cheese versus PointCrow. That was they definitely got the money's worth.
They did. I joked earlier, like if it said 1 snowball or 30. I didn't realize there were going to be literally 30 snowballs after I said that.
Oh, and Cheese dealing with the same problem. Another high quality snowball, and Cheese himself is laughing his something off.
Yeah, like he's just like, what do you want me to do? Nothing. We want you to just sit there and take a snowball to the face for a couple of minutes, bud. That's what we paid for.
Wow. All right.
That's so good.
PointCrow now has got to be making moves. This is when you need to happen. Snowballs are not any. He puts the controller down in defeat, Cheese. Keep them coming. This is the chance, PointCrow fans. What do you got to do? Don't let it stop. Don't let it stop.
We're at the point where it's like they run out of snowballs when winter itself ends. Like that's how long this is going on. They all have to just melt. Oh my god, just hit in the face over and over again. Just constantly.
There's the beautiful smile. Cheese coming out though. He's enjoying it in the end.
I mean, you have to. Like at a certain point, right? At a certain point, you just got to enjoy it. Sip your water and take your snowball to the face like a man. Like that's just how it has to go.
I'm starting to fear, though, for what the Cheese fans are about to do to PointCrow, because the Cheese fans aren't liking this, I imagine. So we're going to see if there's any kickback the other way in terms of snowball barrage.
There might be. I think 20 or 30 is funny. 60 to 70 makes you mad. There's a certain number of snowballs, which is like optimum comedy, and then after that, it becomes anger, and then we go to war, and then it's a snowball war.
Yep.
And you and I sit here as the clock hits 2 hours while both players have their head in their hands getting hit by snowballs for 50 consecutive minutes. Meanwhile, the UAP sends 1 billion kids to college.
Yeah. I can see the Cheese fans are now working out the calculus here to figure out when they could do this same thing to PointCrow. Yes. I imagine that's happening now as Cheese does break the cycle and we're not stuck here all night.
The cycle of violence is broken. He almost got hit by one more afterwards. I think that would have been really rough. It's like, really? Really? I'm finally able to dodge these things and I get hit again.
Yes. Black Ops 778, you did find the key. Yeah, if he gets invincibility during that, it's all for naught. But that was not the case in that one for our
I figured it out. I mean, I like the idea that we have, like, competing things now, right? Snowballs versus invincibility. Oh, no! PointCrow got hit by one. Oh, no! Okay, he gets over the next one. So now, every snowball that hits them, I'm like, is this the start of a 4-minute snowball barrage?
It has to be the right setup, but yeah, there's a few areas where that might happen. We're going to see.
It's like a massacre.
That was pretty good.
I mean, if I'm them now, I'm deathly afraid of these, because you never know which one's the one.
Yeah, I would say this has now already produced 2 very memorable moments. That one, PointCrow, mad gamer skills, when he was dealing with everything on the earth, and now we got the Snowball Massacre of 2021 on Cheese himself. So a lot of fun moments happening.
The Great Snowball Massacre of 2021. Yeah. Winter started a little early. It's only mid-November, people. There shouldn't be this much snow.
So this event has already far surpassed every expectation I had in terms of everything, right? Donations going crazy. That's all thanks to you, Chad. You're going nuts, and it's been a lot of fun. And we still got, 40 minutes, more than 45 minutes left, my friend. Let's enjoy it.
Yeah, donations, whatever. Snowballs, all about the snowballs. Anonymous, $10. Anonymous, $15. We are creeping up there. We are getting very close to 7,800. Boy, you called it, I think. 8,000, I think it's possible.
Oh, yeah. I think we can definitely get there collectively. For sure. Then zoom in now for PointCrow. And a snowball. He dodges deftly there. Snowball.
I mean, with the zoom in, the snowball thing, especially when you're on the right side of the screen, look at that. Like, it's really, he barely got out of the way there. Yeah. Oh, man, this is so close. It's really hard to dodge these snowballs.
I think he is. Yeah, he's invincible. Oh, God, I hate this word. He's divisible.
Otherwise. He's Da Vinci-able.
Yeah. He's invincible right now.
Oh, and he wasn't after. He finally got through, and his invincibility was gone, and now he is, invincible, I guess.
Yes. Let's make new words. I don't want to say those. I don't want to say those anymore.
They're hard to say. My God.
So,
I mean, the zoom plus the snowball. Yeah, the zoom plus the snowball is like a really deadly combination, I think.
Yeah, we got to find the strats, the chat control strats. So what's the meta to make it the hardest as possible? That's what we got to learn as we.
I mean, I can't believe chat is optimizing their sadism, right? Like right before our very eyes, they're like speedrunners, you know.
What's the worst combination possible? We're gonna find out, I think, by the end of tonight.
I think we've gotten pretty close. I think that Zoom plus Snowball, if timed just right, is really rough.
Yeah, that is definitely tough. It just the combination. I want to see how easy is the time when your crowd control goes off, right? That's what I want to know about. I need to find the stats on that. Get our statisticians on that. How many seconds do we need to delay our crowd controls to get that optimally happening? But
yeah, and does it vary?
I'm getting too deep into it.
Yeah, like is the snowball, does it take 5 seconds for the snowball, but 2 seconds for Oshiro? Like, I don't know. I have no idea at all. But there's got to be a lag. There's got to be some input lag there.
And you asked, like you asked for, we have Zoom and Snowball, and PointCrow is lovely.
I shouldn't have said it, right? Like, I was basically just giving them a roadmap. Here's how you mess with this guy the most. And they're like, oh, yeah, thanks. Oh, man. I mean, you can see he's just like, he's so hesitant. Oh, inside the bubble and gets hit by the snowball anyway.
Yeah, I think I very much, very uninformed, said snowballs don't look that tough. They are proving to be very tough in the right circumstances.
Yeah, this is pretty rough. This is pretty rough.
I was going to give the MVP to Mr. Oshiro. The giant Oshiro was being the tough thing, but wow, snowballs are making a quick comeback here.
I would have agreed with you. I think early on it was Oshiro's, yeah.
Power rankings changing very quickly here.
I feel like we've been in Mirror Temple for kind of a while because of this.
Yes, I think so too. This is a very long chapter, and it's proving even longer now with all this nonsense going on that we call crowd control.
And the next one's particularly fun. Reflection is really colorful, really interesting, maybe a little more open. This one's obviously a little darker. So I'm kind of looking forward to getting out of it, especially just because, again, it's gone on quite a while. But that's not going to happen if they keep hurling these snowballs. We have Oshiro and snowballs and Slowdown all at once for PointCrow.
He's taking it like a champ so far. Yeah, I can't wait to see the feathers. The feathers are really like one of the favorite mechanics of this game. When you turn a little ball and you kind of move around. When if you can reverse the D-pad on that, that's pretty tough because you're always surrounded by spikes. But just a little idea out there. Chat, you do what you will with that knowledge.
Feral Moss Goblin again. I remember them from before. How could you forget a name like Feral Moss Goblin? $20 more, and we are just under 15 shy of 7,800.
Wow. Wow. What else can you say?
Well, you could say ow.
True.
after the 30th snowball in the face, you could say ow, ow.
Be sure to look at the death counter on this one because it's gonna be
boy. Oh my god.
Yep.
Oh my god. I mean, it's a good thing it's a newer game because I think otherwise the death counter would do that thing where it sort of overfloods the memory on the old cartridge and allows them to write, the old speedrunner trick of memory overflow. How high do numbers go? We're about to find out.
Now, as Cheese here has, again, seemingly, he's kind of returned to a sense of having a fun playthrough of the game right now. He's definitely, I don't know if he's pulling ahead. He's definitely still at least got that 7-minute lead, though. And we are inching closer to the end of this one. There is only 7 chapters, and this is chapter 5, so...
Yeah. I still think you're right. I think this is like right about online. One thing I like about these little platforms that Cheese is on right here, it's a very cool little mechanic in this game that you maintain just a little bit of that momentum from that platform. So if you jump at the height of it, you get a little extra boost than you would normally get, and you need it to get through some of these. So it's just one of those things that in a game, it feels intuitive that this would happen, so they put it in there. And it's just a little tiny buff, and it's just one of those things that, makes the game so interesting and feels so smooth when you play it.
Yeah, that's the best way to kind of describe for anyone who hasn't played. Just a very smooth experience. Beginning when you play it, it's like, well, okay, just gotta learn how to do dashes correctly. That's the main mechanic. I mean, dashes is what the bread and butter of this game. Once you figure that out, though, it's very fun to kind of get better at the game and then progress. That's so the game is set up beautifully to learn the mechanics with the game, get better at all the mechanics yourself, and you feel like you accomplish something when you beat it.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the little bunny hops. The wave dash. You gotta love the wave dash. Like it's just so cool the way you just kind of skip along the surface of the water like a stone. It's pleasant to even just watch, right? Like, and that's how you know a game like this is good, when movement itself is gratifying.
Oh yes, as we see Cheese smoothly making his way through this one. I will smoothly transition to a donation here from the great anonymous 3 digits, my friends. 1, 2, 3, $123 coming in hot. We are less than $100 away from the epic, huge, enormous goal of $8,000.
So cool, you guys. Again, great cause, and I happen to mean the charity when I say great cause, because the snowball thing itself is a great cause. And we have 2 great causes tonight: hitting these guys in the face with snowballs for several minutes in a row that they can't do anything about, and the UAP, of course, and their college prep program that helps train the next generation of game developers from 91% of their students from low-income neighborhoods. That is absolutely remarkable. And look, very often, I grew up in a low-income neighborhood, and let me tell you, there's a lot of people, a lot of smart, great people in these communities that just need to know these things are possible, just need a little help, just need to get started, and that's what they do here. And it's a great thing to see, and you are all part of it today.
High drama on PointCrow's side. He's got the snowballs, he got unlimited dashes going on, though, and look how fast he made that room go. That was a fun little sequence there when he was dealing with the snowballs, he was dealing with being invisible, and now he's here. So maybe he can catch up a little time here. Not so confident in that statement, but we'll see. And this is where the snowball massacre of 2021 happened for Cheese. Will it happen for PointCrow? We're going to find out in a few short minutes.
I mean, there's got to be like an historical marker, right? Like on this spot, 26 minutes ago.
Here we go. People ready with those coins. Snowballs are also going slow. We have slowed down time.
I mean, we said we wanted a fish like Mario. Does this count?
I think it does. It's not officially a sprite swap, though. It is kind of a weird one, but I'll still give it credit.
Not officially, you say?
Oh, that's why we
pay
him the big bucks.
I apologize.
Chat, that's why he's here. Here it comes. Crowd control the booth.
They wish they could throw a snowball in my face. I get it. Yes, this is the last race, Chad is asking. This is it. Yeah. We got 40 minutes left, possibly less if Cheese can actually, or PointCrow, but Cheese has the lead, can actually finish this, chapter 5 of 7 here. But as you can see, a few impediments in their way.
Yes. So this is, don't hold your hype for anything else. This is where we let the hype out, my friends. This is the main event. And it has been great so far, and we still got plenty left. So let's enjoy it.
I know I've said this before, anonymous for $20.
Yep, I was going to say that too. The anonymous is coming in hot. They want to see the $8,000 smash, and I'm sure a lot of chat does as well.
Well, we are shockingly close to $8,000. And there it is, as I was looking at it, Icazaplex. We've said their name several times, and with some big numbers too. Another 100 from Icazaplex, $8,028.50. Tremendous. Thank you, everyone.
Wow. I mean, me and Track just sat down in the booth. We had 6,000, a little bit under 6,000, and we have already got 8,000. I thought that was a lofty goal in my mind. I was like, I don't know, that's a lot. But you guys proved that was not that tough. You guys are awesome, supporting a great cause. It's really good to be a part of this, guys. So let's keep the hype going and enjoy the rest of this one as we zoom in on PointCrow with Mr. Oshiro.
I mean, that's just not even fair. That's not even fair. I mean, look, you and I know about the caster's curse, right? We say, oh, I don't think sub 7, sub 8, or whatever is possible, and then in mid-sentence it happens. Well, there's a good version of it, too, which is, oh, I don't know if we can make it. Can we make 8,000? I don't know. And then they do, The speedrunning community is a great, wholesome, and productive community, and they're showing it today.
Yep. I guess I'll throw it out there. Can we make 8,500?
Ooh.
I don't think so, but can you prove me wrong?
Oh.
I'd love to see it.
Hey, chat, this guy said you can't do it.
There you go.
You better show this guy.
PointCrow is getting the trolling laughter, the invisible... oh, God, I'm done with these words. Invisibility. He's getting the troll laughter, and he's making his way through like a champ. So we are going to see... This is going... Look at this. You guys are relentless for PointCrow. So far behind, and he does the invisibility... I give up.
Just say can't seeableness.
I'm walking out next time.
Yeah,
I'm out.
Walking out. I mean, in your defense, like, invincible invisibility is like a Ron Burgundy vocal warm-up. Like, it's not... It shouldn't even be a sentence.
There we go. Okay, so he's still dealing with both those afflictions, I should say, and he does have the troll. Yeah, the troll.
Bad thing happened to man on left.
Yes.
Keep it simple.
Yeah.
Look, it's been a long day, everybody. It's been a long day.
A lot of fun, though. A lot of fun as we are dealing with chapter. Let's just catch up here. We got some new people in the chat, I'm sure, letting you know what's going on. This has been a long day of great action here with NRG versus CLJ for some fun, for charity. That's known as the Urban Arts Partnership. That's helping people from, some underprivileged kids or people from areas that usually don't go to college. Hey, they're getting a chance to go to college. That's really great. And that's what we're all here for. The first two matches were taken by CLJ. And now we're here in the last one here. Cheese has a little bit of a lead here in this game, Celeste, but we're going to find out what's going to happen here in the next 30 or 37 or so minutes. CLJ, I'm saying the wrong name.
Well, G and J sound pretty similar.
Yes.
I think you're just low on NRG.
Yes, exactly. I need more RNG. I need good RNG to say the good
the
thing, but we're going to find out there. I'll get there one day, chat. CLJ.
PointCrow is. I could say CLJ. Are you starting a new speedrunning team?
Yes.
Did you just accidentally announce?
I've signed Cheese already, so it's called CLJ. Hope you guys enjoy it.
I can't even imagine what the J stands for. Not to put you on the spot or anything. I
can't think of something funny enough, fast enough, so I'll save
it. There just aren't enough J words. I'm sorry to put you on the spot. There's just nothing. That's just comedy death. Sorry. That's just bad improv right there. I tell you what, though, PointCrow, man, that guy still looks happy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wonder. Of course, it's every runner's choice to kind of. Do they know what they are? Do they have a screen open where Cheese is up? It's up to them to do that. Some runners like to watch, some runners don't. I'm not sure what PointCrow is doing here, but he's for sure still enjoying himself and the pain you are inflicting on him.
Are you suggesting that maybe he thinks he's winning and that's why he's smiling?
It could be. It could be he thinks he's doing well. I think you can't say he's not doing well.
I think he's doing well. I think he's doing well. I just think Cheese might be doing a little better.
Yes. And that's, as we called it, as the Vegas odds had it, as Cheese the favorite, as I thought too.
Yeah. But I mean,
myself, but
if you just looked at the speedrunning history, you might think, well, I don't know, maybe Cheese wins this easy. I don't know. It's a tough thing. So I think it's fair to say maybe that PointCrow is exceeding expectations at the moment. Yes,
definitely. And I really, if we get that interview with opportunity with them, I want to ask how they came up with this game as the one they chose. They had a lot of games to choose from, and they chose this one. And this is a very tough game, especially with crowd control on.
Yeah. No, I agree. I'm very curious about the thought process there. Wow, we're coming up on an hour and a half, and they are still on the same chapter, though. I don't think the gap has narrowed much, though. I think it's probably still somewhere between 5 and maybe 8 minutes.
No, this chapter is a long one for sure, but yeah, they've been on this one for quite a while now.
I mean, I'd say 30, 35 minutes now they've been on this one.
30 minutes. Yeah, you can see on the bottom there, 30 minutes for Cheese and 22 minutes for PointCrow. So this is by far the longest part of the run for both of these runners. And this game is cool. It's called Celeste. Came out in 2018, I believe.
Yeah,
and,
2018.
Very healthy speedrunning community. If you're interested, there's so many resources out there to get into this game. So go check that out. Just Google it. You'll find it very easily. Lots of people that'll help you get into the game.
I mean, this was a speedrunning hit immediately, and it was just a hit immediately. I mean, people just responded to it right away because of that buttery smooth movement that we talked about earlier. It's just, you could tell just so much care went into this. It's so obvious.
Yep. And this is one of those cases where a lot of times you see game developers like, how can I make my game good for speedrunning? And the most important point, Celeste got perfectly, just make a good game, right? Make a good game, and they'll run it, right? Then you can add the kind of accoutrement to it to make it even better for speedrunning. But first you gotta have a good game, and that's what Celeste has. And then they added the extra to make it even better for speedrunning. Just, it's handmade for speedrunning, after they made sure they had a great base, which is an awesome game.
You're gonna speak French, but you can't say invisible? I mean, I guess I'm impressed. Accoutrement.
Yes.
You didn't even say Mont. You did the French pronunciation and everything, man. You're a tough one to figure out, my friend. I'm
pulling out all the stops for the Urban Arts Partnership. That's what I'm doing here. That's what I'm in the booth for, my friends. Let's make it happen.
Fantastic.
And we'll have a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, this is actually, I mean, I am not a super Celeste expert, I mean, I'm aware of it. I've played it a little bit. It's a great game. I like reading about it. I like reading about games more than playing them sometimes, especially with the speedrunning community, right? But it is so enjoyable to watch, and so much more than I expected even with this weird mode.
Yeah, this weird mode's definitely added some things. Yeah, this has definitely added a lot more than I expected. You never know how crowd control is going to work. I mean, I knew Super Mario 64 I've seen many times, and yeah, it gets silly, and that's awesome. That's the point of it in that side of things. But this game, I wasn't so sure. Like, is it going to be fun to see this obstacles being thrown at them, and yeah, it's proved to be much more fun than I expected. So
because then you remember that's what the game is. It's obstacles and mechanics. So as long as once they get used to it, it's going to be really interesting. You said earlier, speedrunning. What do you want to do to make a game good for speedrunning? Just make a good game. And you're right. That is like the number one thing. If I want to go a little more tight on that, I would say specifically focus on the controls. Focus on precision. Focus on something that will reward the kind of person who speedruns. And we know what kind of person that is, right? Obsessive. Focused on details, every little bit of optimization. If your controls are not precise, then optimization isn't even possible, right? Like a bad control will produce roughly the same time as really tight, fine control from the player. So you're not rewarded for your precision, for your obsession that you have when you're a speedrunner. So if you reward that level of precision and obsession, you're going to find speedrunners flock to your game, and that's what we've seen here.
Yep, and the developers of this game go the extra mile as well. They take they've taken lots of things, suggestions from the speedrun community of how to make this game even more, fun for the speedrun community, because they want to support that, and that's really cool. So something I wish a lot of more games do.
Like that's what this is like now. I mean, I hate to use the word content because it's so impersonal, but content creators, they have an interactive relationship with their fans in a lot of ways, and even with game development. And that's really fitting because that's what we have right now, which is the people watching the chat participating in the game. It's games themselves are interactive, and watching games can be interactive, and playing games and talking to the developers even can be interactive. And Celeste shows you how to do it well.
Yep. As the hourglass is just about to strike 1 hour and 30 minutes on this event here. Got 30 minutes left on this great day so far. $8,000 has been reached. I put the challenge out of an $8,500. That would be really, really cool. We've made so much already for the great cause. Our expectations are already blown out of the water. But can we get a little bit more? That'd be really cool, my friends.
It would be
been
really
so much
cool.
fun.
Look, I want the headline tomorrow to be, oh my God, we have a snow shortage. I didn't know you could run short on snow. I didn't know that was a thing. A few $100s more might get it done.
Yeah, speaking of that, we've kind of calmed down in terms of the obstacles our runners are dealing with now. We got on both sides have been kind of smooth sailing for a little bit here.
Look at that. Look at that. Smashes the eye at the end. Gets a little kind of screen distortion. I love the way it breaks down there. So cool. Just like a good reflection of the mental state of the character kind of thing. Just a nice little bit of story and game coming together. PointCrow, though, is chucking it across there as well. And I think maybe he has narrowed this gap a little bit.
110 deaths there for Cheese. 3 digits.
Good Lord.
Cheese is definitely good as he enters into Chapter 6 Reflection, coming in at you here. 30 minutes left. I think an ending is going to be in our future here, but we got to see how far he's going to get, and that will be fun. And we're going to also see how far behind PointCrow is. How much help does he need from you guys to help Cheese as he's dealing with the snowballs?
Oh, it's going.
Oh, it's that happened already. Yeah. There is that feather, and I don't think snowballs are going to be too much of a problem for feather. I think reverse controls will be, however, but we're going to see how that plays out with that beautiful feather mechanic.
I think you're right. It's a very cool mechanic. It actually reminds me of like really old school games, though, too, in its simplicity.
Yeah, he's just too fast for the snowballs. He burns right past snowballs. As I say that, he gets back.
Oh, the caster's curse. Nice. Cheese, by the way, just for your notes, did finish that chapter a little past 1:30. Maybe 1:30, 30, something like that. More or less, yeah.
Yep, so we are coming to the end of here. Still a lot of fun left, though. Still almost... Oh, excuse me. As I say fun, we had a lot of fun happen in chat just now. Anonymous coming in with the 3 hundo to get our total up to $8,320 and 2 quarters. That is awesome, my friends. Wow, you guys are really doing a great job tonight. This is really cool. A lot of fun. A lot of good being done.
Really close to that 8,500 now in one big swoop. I mean, there've been donations of all sizes, as low as $1 and as high as 1,000, and some people in particular have been so comically generous, really. And every now and then someone just says, you know what, I'm going to put us in range of this goal just in one move. And that's what we just saw. We've seen it a lot. And we know that when a chat like this gets near a big round number, oh, they can't resist.
Yes. And we are seeing how Cheese is now very deftly moving that feather mechanic. When you are invincible with feather, that can make this stage be trivially easy, as we just saw a little bit happen. So if you want to help Cheese, now's the time to make him invincible. If you want to hurt Cheese, you might want to reverse control. Just a few notes. Do with that knowledge what you will.
There it is. PointCrow is also through, and look at how the gap has narrowed. Just a few minutes now. He probably made up 4 or 5 minutes there.
I think you're right. Wow, that was...
Wow, what a turnaround. He got through that much quicker.
I'm going to be honest. I did not write down the last time you said, and now I can't
remember. It was a little over 1:30. It was almost exactly 3 minutes.
There we go. There we go.
It was just a few minutes. I mean, it was 2 to 3 times that. You can look
at
like chapter 3.
In-game timer is a great way to see the difference too, as you see the top left of their screens.
Yeah,
there.
under 3, nice.
Yeah, so this has getting hot in many ways. Donations hot, trial control hot, and now in terms of a competition, it's very hot. We're gonna see what's gonna happen here in Chapter 6. Getting close to the end now, my friends. Let's enjoy it.
Uninteresting Chem Nerd, again, $5. Obviously, I remember that name. I talked about it for a while.
Very interesting, despite what he says or she says. As we see an entrance of the Kevin blocks, which is a fun block where you hit them is where they go. And Cheese is waiting on something here. Oh, just wiping the...
I mean, the thing I like about the mechanics, like the block you ride, right? I'm sure it has a name, but you just control it while you're on it. And the thing is, they're all so simple. They're all so simple. Like, how is there this kind of depth from something so simple? Almost none of the mechanics in the game are just like totally brand new. I've never heard of anything like that mechanics, but they're done precisely and they chain together in interesting ways. And it shows that you don't need that kind of like $1 million elevator pitch idea to make a great game, right? You just need to think interestingly about how systems interact with one another, and then you have to polish the living daylights out of it. And you've got yourself a classic just with that.
Yep, and PointCrow was dealing with reverse controls there for a moment, and is definitely dealing with slowed down time here, which might be with feather mechanic. I mean, it's more positive than negative. When you're behind by a few minutes, maybe not so positive, but it's not the worst thing in the world.
No, it's not. Now, some of these kind of go together kind of well, yeah, and that's another $10 from Anonymous.
When it turns off, though, in the middle of your feather, that's kind of tough. Yeah.
I mean, I think the internal clock thing is actually an underrated part of this. It's been roughly 30 seconds. I need to brace myself for the change. I need to realize that my invincibility is about to end. I think you gotta have a rough idea, and you have to have like a tolerance. You have to have a good sense of how good you are at estimating the time. If you know you're bad at it, then give yourself a few seconds buffer, right?
Oh, here we go. I can see PointCrow fans are giving him some invincibility frames here, so that's very nice with the feather. Yep. He's making quick work. We're getting closer and closer, I think.
Oh, woke up the block and immediately paid for his crimes.
And Snowball making an appearance.
Oh, and smashed. And I love the zooms in just in time to show his near death.
He's invincible again, though, so he's doing okay. You can see him just chilling with those spikes here.
It was like the cameraman saying, he's about to get crushed. Let's get a closer look.
He needs that block to push him up, and there it is. He is going up now. Invincibility frames, though. Who knows how long they are. They got to be done now, you'd think.
Watch out.
They're fine. Snowballs are a good test of if they're invincible or not.
Come on, this looks like a jungle. There should not be snowballs. Come on. That's my complaint, the realism. This is where I draw the line.
As we see Mina Ann 3 coming in again with $2. Seeing your name a lot as well. Thanks so much for your support
thank you.
And now we got the bumpers going on. With bumpers are a fun mechanic too, as you might expect. You jump on them, they bump you. And we see Cheese now make quick work of him.
You know, what I like is that you see something like that in a game and you're like, oh, that's a problem, right? And it's like, well, yeah, sometimes, but if you use it to your advantage, it's also, yeah. Every mechanic doubles, something like that. In the wrong context, it's bad. In the right context, it's good. Just like some of these power-ups,
Wow, that was a good save by Cheese here. He's getting a lot of invincibility here from his supporters out there. I'm seeing, which is very helpful in this stage.
We're seeing PointCrow with a bit of it too. I think everyone is coming out. Any of the money they have left, any of the coins they have left, we're seeing this kind of last gasp, and here's your last chance to get them. But also, I think seeing how much that gap was narrowed on the previous chapter, I think that made people think, well, I'm not just, throwing money after it, whatever, just for funsies. I could actually affect the outcome now.
He looks like he's searching a little bit, though, here. Is he sure of the path? He does have unlimited dashes now, as he's putting to great use. It looks like he's searching, though, which I don't like seeing now. If I want to have a close match. He is not sure where to go. He's thinking about it. The gears are turning. I just don't think Cheese is going to have these slowdowns. Well, he showed a
Yeah.
little bit of that earlier, but he seems to be on quite the roll now.
Yeah, he's really settled in. I mean, obviously, PointCrow made up several minutes in that previous chapter. That got him back in the game, but seems to have been short-lived. Cheese is looking very confident and is really settled in, and it makes sense. He's been playing for an hour and a half. You know, he's getting comfortable.
PointCrow dealing with the zoomed-in screen too. Some people not wanting to make it easy.
The next milestone, for those who didn't notice, says turn ALT into a believer. Support UAP. Yeah, you're the you don't think we can do it, right?
Yep, that was me. I didn't think you could. We have.
You're the old Ebenezer Scrooge.
I've been caught worse, so I'll take that. 22 minutes left. Excuse me, 21 minutes left on this grandfather clock of this awesome event here, and PointCrow seems to be searching. Did he find his way yet? He is now invisible.
Hey, last time it was an hourglass. What are you trying to pull?
All different timepieces I keep around me for cases just like this.
We're running out of clock synonyms. Help people.
Yes.
20 minutes left. My goodness. But it really has flown by. Like, the game is just so fast-paced, and the interaction of systems I keep talking about, and then you throw 5 or 6 more systems in from chat, and it's just constant. It's constantly evolving. Like, it's such a tough game, such a reflex-based game already, and then you throw all this at them, and to see the runners do as well as they have is really deeply impressive.
Troll laughter in slowdown time is a treat. 1 minute later, ha!
The thing I appreciate about it is it's trolled because it doesn't actually hurt you. It doesn't make it any harder to play. It's pretty easy for them to ignore, except psychologically, right? Like, it is just straight up, the troll is the only benefit. But what I really wish we'd seen, the perfect thing would have been to bust out the ha-has while the snowballs were hitting them. If you could maybe time the ha's to the face smash, perhaps, that would be art.
So, you see, Morning Track gave you guys a challenge. You heard it.
Yeah.
He's telling you what he wants to see. Can we make it happen?
I mean, that's performance art, as far as I'm concerned. I would try to frame that VOD, if I could. I will definitely clip it, if you do that.
Yes,
we will definitely clip
it.
At the very least, we'll all tweet it
put
out.
NFT material there.
Yeah, we'll have to NFT it. Oh, hang on. We're gonna double our money in a couple of minutes then. Apparently.
Yeah. All right, so now PointCrow is dealing with those bumpers here. He does, as you can see, the spikes are not hurting him in any way, though, so he's making quick work of it.
That's, you shouldn't start a new team called CLG. You should start a new team called NFT.
Yeah, I think that's better.
That's your new gaming team. I'm not going to ask you what that stands for either. Don't worry about it.
All right, so we do have... I wonder, I think I call it like I see it. Cheese is definitely... That lead was short for a bit. It was about a 3-minute, 2-minute range-ish thing, but I think he's widened it a bit now. It's going to take PointCrow to speed things up here to get a little bit closer.
I think you're right. I think he really responded to that tough chapter really well and has come out a lot stronger since. And that's tough. I mean, like, that kind of, like, mental fortitude kind of thing. Like, speedrunning is really frustrating, even under normal circumstances, which, as I said earlier, this ain't. This is not normal circumstances. And being able to just kind of tough it out and keep going and get better over time rather than tired and frustrated over time is part of the skill. It's not just mechanical. It's very mental. And I think all great speedrunners have that kind of fortitude, and he's showing it here.
Getting the slowdown through these areas here.
Hey, he loves it. It's nice.
Yeah.
I mean, if he weren't already smiling constantly, he would be now.
Yes, definitely. I think
is like pinball.
Pinball with when you're invincible. I think both players have been invincible for some time now. Just endless invincible on both sides, pretty much.
Pinvincible.
Yeah.
There we go. There we go. There you got it. Look at that. Beautiful. It actually looks so... It looks very cool when it's fast, obviously, when you bounce off a bunch of things, but it's also kind of cool to see it in slow motion.
Speedrun of this game is really art, by the way. If you haven't seen a true speedrun of this game, it is really something. It's definitely...
I mean, they get through the screen and you barely know what they did.
Yes. Might have to slow it down the first time you watch it, but it is something. Especially if you played the game yourself, you could really appreciate all the moves.
Oh, yeah.
Pulling off here.
I mean, the way they chain them together, I mean, fractions of a second, and it's just nonstop, 5 or 6 in a screen across a couple of seconds, and then it just happens again and again and again, and there's just so few moments where they even have a moment to stop and like take stock of where they are, which means you sure don't.
Yep. As Snowballs are making an appearance. They've been going a few minutes, but they're back. Happy to see them always. And this is one of those games where, like, some speedrun games, you know, when they don't have the community that Celeste does, they're kind of at the world records or something. Hey, I can get that. You know, if I work hard for a few months, I might be able to get in the running for that. Celeste is one of those games where every single room is so optimized. It's such a daunting project, right, to get there. But so if you ever want to dig your heels into a good project, getting on the leaderboards of this game is one of them, because it is very, very intense. But an awesome challenge for anyone who likes speedrunning. And
you said get on the leaderboard too. Like, yeah, be realistic. Don't be like, oh, I'm going to take the world record. Get on the leaderboard is a challenge too, and quite an accomplishment, you know. And Cheese is still on that leaderboard. I think he's a 330th, something like that now. There's a chapter complete from Cheese, and 15 minutes left, just over that. And PointCrow is actually still not that far behind him, though. I think maybe he's made up a little ground here at the end again.
All right, so Cheese's goal is simple now: get to that summit or be the closest one to it. In the 15 odd seconds, 15 minutes and some odd seconds we have left here. And,
oh my goodness. Icosaplex with another 100. They've given 100 several times, I think, now. And we are at 8,445. $55 away from 8,500.
Seems like a good number.
Yeah, hey, you guys are really showing ALT. Oh, you're looking silly, my friend.
It's going to happen, I believe. But let's not take anything for granted. We don't know. We do not know what's going to happen in the last 15 minutes.
Still doesn't think you can do it. Do you hear that? Do you hear this guy over here? God, the gall. He makes me so mad. He doesn't think we can do it. Yeah, PointCrow still a little behind, but I think we're still just a few minutes, though. I mean, what a comeback, though. I really thought when she started to pull away there, 8 or 9 minutes, I think it was, a few chapters in, I thought, okay, this might be a bit of a walk. You know, it happens. Even though PointCrow's playing solid, she's just playing on another level today, and, you know, you have a good day and you walk away with an easy win. But no, PointCrow really came back, and more to the point, people hit Cheese pretty hard in chat, so that's part of it for sure. And we've got ourselves a real match still, but with 15 minutes left, you know, that 2 to 3 minute gap or whatever it is now is looming larger and larger with each second that passes. There it is, Law's Claws, $55.55. We are over 8,500.
Congratulations. Congratulations all. You did it. That was awesome. Abby Bagel too, another $20. Really good stuff, guys. Really incredible what you guys are doing. You know, legitimately, I was like 8,000. Well, that's a big goal, but you guys proved me very incorrect, and that's awesome, guys. Really, really good job. That's a great ending to this night, as we still have 15 minutes left as Cheese is making his way to that summit here. And yeah, still a lot of time. Have some fun. Crowd control.
Whoa! I'm sorry to interrupt.
What?
500 more from Anonymous. Just now. We're over 9,000. I'm sorry to cut you off, but my goodness.
That's worth it. Wow.
The admins did not even have time to put up the next milestone before it was shattered. $9,000. Amazing.
Wow. What else? I'm running out of things to say, but wow. Chat, you guys have... I said you were legends. I meant it, right? You are all legends out there, and that's really, really cool. What a huge number that is.
Jeez, yeah, no, this is going to legitimately change some people's lives. It's that kind of money.
Wow. Couldn't ask for a better ending to this day, and we're still not done yet, so let's enjoy these runners making their way to the top. But wow, it's already been so successful in every way possible. So yeah, thanks to everyone for that.
Yeah, fantastic, and great play from the runners. I guess the only thing that could be any better is if PointCrow somehow got us to sudden death.
Yeah, the big ask now.
It's still possible, but it's a tough ask, certainly.
We need the crowd control reset Cheese's computer or something. What's the amount for that?
Yeah, how many coins?
Yeah, we gotta.
How many coins to have someone ring his doorbell and distract him for a few minutes? Please don't do that, anyone. Please.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. I was like, oh no.
No.
That is a J-O-K-E.
Yes, absolutely. If we can make him drink his water in exasperation, though, like we're all for that, right? We want the fun prank.
Yes, exactly. Wow, what? I'm just still in shock right there. Anonymous.
I mean,
500. That's so insane.
telling you, when you get near those round numbers, people go crazy. People rush in, you know. Man, he's still struggling. PointCrow's still struggling with this chapter, though.
But he's having with a smile. With a smile. Like,
yeah, he's having a good time.
Yeah.
And he should be. He's putting up a really good effort here. I mean, I think we both maybe thought he might have been out early on, and he wasn't. He showed us both wrong there.
Yep.
Maybe me more than you. There we go. You didn't think Chad could do it. I didn't think PointCrow could do it. We're both fools.
Yes, definitely. We're the biggest fools here. And the legends are all you guys in chat, and our 2 runners, of course.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. I mean, look, not only are they giving of their time, but they're not playing. They're not. You say, oh, they're playing a video game. Yeah, but they're playing a video game in public in a very frustrating way. And they do have reputations to maintain.
I wonder, what can we see? I'm trying to think of what can hinder Cheese now, because now there's this stage. What do we want to see here? I'm trying to look through the options here. What do I want the chat to do? I mean, reverse. I think the go-to for me is always reverse controls. But yeah. I don't know how many times Cheese might have had that done many times, and he just taken care of it because I haven't seen it very often.
He might just be a god at that. Yeah, like some. Yeah. It is funny to see which things trip people up, right? Like some people, the reverse controls, they just can't get past it. Like their brain just doesn't work that way, right? And other players, it's like, yeah, big deal. Who cares?
I hate to interrupt, but Crow's game just crashed.
Oh, that's terrible. That's going to cost him more time.
What was that donation? What was that? How many coins did that take?
Wow. I think we saw where that 500 went just now, by the way. Yeah. Pretty sure it went directly to crashing his computer.
Yes, unfortunately. That will...
Oh, no.
If it wasn't already wrapped up, that will pretty much wrap it up.
That'll probably do it. That'll probably do it.
Unless we can do it for Cheese as well. Someone crashed that game.
Cheese is flying into the sky, too, almost as if on cue. It's almost like a little victory dance. Skipping the cutscene. Up he goes. Way up the mountain.
Beautiful ending this game too. Very symbolic, very fun to do. Just such a crescendo is built to the ending of this game. It's really cool.
Yeah, I like games that do that. I like games that build thematically, narratively, mechanics-wise, whatever. Just that get build and get crazier and complex and layered and just keep going higher and higher. In this case, literally, and just kind of explode at the end. That's that sense of momentum, which the game is all about in a literal sense too. You know, is really paid off there. At the end.
If there's any silver lining here, I mean, this is the time for a crash to happen. Really, when we're so close to the end, when the ending was pretty much, not in doubt anymore.
Right.
Lead here, so that's the good part of it. There is no good part of it, but it's still nice it happened at the end rather than, let's say, in the middle where things were hotly contested.
We've got a raid coming in for all you new people. By the way, we have raised just over $9,000, and there is a chance to get just a little higher. This is a great cause. It's the Urban Arts Partnership. Teaches people from low-income neighborhoods how to make games, how to use computers, all that stuff, gets them into school. It's just an incredible program, and we've seen an incredible turnout today. There's a $2.50 from Mina and 3, who we've seen a few times. Thank you so much, Mina. And if any of you in chat like what you see, and you know you do, maybe throw a few bucks our way, throw a few snowballs at the runners, and get in on this before it ends, and maybe help us hit one more big milestone.
Let's see if we can get another epic moment involving the snowballs again like we had earlier. It was just incredible. Why is Cheese invincible? Yeah, that's a great question, my friend, in chat. And the reason for that is something known as crowd control, where people are controlling what's going on, making Cheese invincible, making Cheese invisible, making the room, the screen backwards, doing all kinds of stuff to make the game harder for our runners. And that's what we've been doing all day here for the UAP charity, with this competition between NRG and CLG, and in the future, CLJ, but that's in the future only. But this has been a lot of fun, and we have 8 minutes left in this fun.
Yeah, 8 minutes left, and still a little time. Still a little time to do a little good, and still a little time for PointCrow to make one last run, but it's not going to be just about what he does now, right? Like, even if he runs great, you can't have Cheese flying through the chapter either, so... You're gonna need Cheese to slow down a little bit to have any chance.
Yeah, you know what that means.
Power. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just saying he might, for no particular reason, he could just start going slower. I don't know.
I haven't seen Mr. Oshiro in a while. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I think, like, I guess chat got tired of them. Like, that's the new meta. The chat interference has its own meta, which is it's all Mr. Oshiro at first, then it's all snowballs all the time, and now it's a lot of slow motion, I think.
Oh, yeah, good point, Switch Runners. It's CLJ versus NFT. That's the epic battle coming in the future.
That's the next generation of speedrun grudge matches.
Urban Arts, we need you in that matchup as well to help. We'll raise money for that any day, as we have done today.
Sign us up now. We have no players on either team.
As Cheese
we'll
is
figure it
still
out later.
Invincible here, and he has unlimited dashes, putting those to great use here, having fun. The big smile on his face as chat just drowns him in buffs.
Yeah, drowned buffs is exactly right. And he is so good at using them together, and he picks up on it real quick and just flies through these levels. And he didn't need it, I don't think, but he's really starting to pull away now.
As PointCrow here. Unfortunately, a few minutes ago, his game was crashed, so he's kind of the winds has been blown out of the sails of PointCrow, but really played great and well himself. Just been a lot of fun. Look at the point of it's a nice competition to raise money for charity. Hopefully, won't be too soured by that crash on his chances for winning. But he's had a smile on his face the whole competition. It's been a lot of fun.
Hey, these buffs. Is this game pay to win?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
How close can the question now becomes, also if we can reach this new goal, nice. How far can Cheese get up this mountain? And he has a little bit less than 6 minutes left. How far can he get?
Jeez, anonymous, $20 again, by the way. A Cosaplex again? Man, payday, I guess. $40 from a Cosaplex. That is, I hope I'm saying that name right, because I'm saying it a lot.
Yeah. I'm letting you say it for that reason.
Yeah. Well, so, I mean, here's the thing, though. If they're on the same chapter when it ends, it's the first person to finish, and Cheese might be much closer to that, but technically, if PointCrow can finally get through this chapter, we will go into technical sudden death if Cheese hasn't finished this one.
Good point. Good point. I wouldn't mind seeing that. I wouldn't mind sticking around a few more minutes for that. So now we're waiting for PointCrow to finish this chapter, which could prove difficult, but hope without hope. Put your hype into it now. Yep, Fumpy Chocobot, good question. We are doing crowd control, my friend, which means you, the people in chat, can control what happens on the screen. They can do stuff like giving Cheese infinite dashes, as he's displaying now. You can also make him invincible. You can also throw snowballs at him endlessly for 20, 30 minutes, as we saw earlier. A lot of stuff. The power is in your hands, as it is with the Power Glove, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, so look, those who are joining late, all they're seeing is like these crazy buffs, but you should know for about 90% of this, people have been merciless and absolutely pummeling them with debuffs.
Yeah, Cheese is just not even interested in feathers anymore, because who needs them when you have infinite dashes and invincibility? He is very, very high probability now to finish this game and reach the summit.
I mean, I think you're right. You said you thought it was going to be really close. Like, it was going to be right on the mark. And you actually nailed it, because whether he gets there or not, it's within a few minutes, and he's really close. So, well done, my friend. You called that.
That's Cheese now pushing his way through, still invincible, just not ending. People giving their coins to the cause. And that's probably the best cause to give it to now, as PointCrow is now just...
There's a flag.
There it is.
There it is. And $1.50 from Mina and 3. Here from Mina one more time, at least. There we go. We actually did it, it says. I can't believe it. I can't either. I guess this is where all that snow is coming from, by the way.
That was very fun, and we did reach the summit in so many ways. So symbolic of that reaching of the summit. We reached a great, a goal total on the donations. Of course, we reached the summit. Cheese is the champion. CLG moves to 3-0 against NRG. But in the end, it was just about the charity and have a good day. So I hope everyone had that. We're not going to leave it right now. We're going to, of course, see if we can get an interview with our two legends that play the game for us here in a moment. This is a good time for any last-minute donations that are burning a hole in your pocket, though, because we will, of course, take those and give you full credit for those.
Yeah, Mina and again, $2 more, just inching up there. We are at $9,087.05. What a total!
We are trying to get the totally random goal of $9,420.69.
Yeah,
which is just a random number that just happened to be the...
I mean, I just assume it's based on one of the exchange rates. Like, that's why it's so precise.
Exactly.
It's against the strength of the yuan.
That's exactly it. And we are going to see if we can't get them in here 1 second, chat. Bear with me. That was a lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that, and I really enjoyed watching the runners like get good at it. You know, they were definitely struggling in the beginning, but they got better as it went.
I got to know what was your favorite moment here? We got just me and you in the booth here. What was your favorite moment of this last 2 hours?
Oh, come on. It's the snowballs to the face, and it's not even close. I kind of feel like I should give you a different answer because it's too obvious,
Yes.
right? Like I mean, and I guess if you want to be more specific, it's the second time it happened. The first time it's funny, but the fact that it evened out and the other player got it too, and like all was right with the world, fantastic.
Agree. Had to throw the snowball at you there for the last question as we get our runners in here. If we could get them pulled into this room here as we are joined by the legendary two runners of Cheese and PointCrow. PointCrow, I'm going to go to you. Unfortunately, the bad ending there with the game crashing, but you had a smile on your face the whole time. Just give me your overall thoughts here.
Oh, that was so much fun. That was so. I mean, it crashes aside, right? Like it's all for charity, anyways, and it's just a good time, regardless. This was really cool. I crowd control with Celeste is nuts. I had a ton of fun, and Cheese is a fearsome competitor. My God. I thought I was ahead, right? Because I think you spent the first 3 minutes of the run doing your settings. That's a flex.
I spent like a full minute fixing the settings because like all the controls were crazy. I need to change everything.
That is absolutely phenomenal, dude.
I got extremely lucky. Like at the end, Smallland came in my chat and he's like, "I'm gonna give you invincibility and in the minute dashes for the whole summit." I was like, "Okay,
dude."
So I just dashed to the end.
I heard you did the summit in like a minute, literally.
Yeah, I infinite dashed all the way to the end.
That's crazy.
It was close before that. It was kind of close before that.
yeah. I checked the stream a bit.
Solid, yeah, it was like I was behind by like 3 minutes and then 8 minutes, I think, and then I caught up to like 2 minutes behind or so, and then you just swept me at the end.
Yeah, pure luck.
Yeah.
Congrats, dude.
Yeah, it was like a 7-minute difference for the majority, and then PointCrow made it about 2-minute difference, but then she just took it away in the second to last chapter 6. She's had a great one. And then, of course, the ridiculousness of unlimited dashes, invincibility. It was like, all right, she's going to get to the top.
A victory lap of a chapter.
Yeah.
Cheese, I gotta... Go ahead.
Oh, no, I just correct me if I'm wrong, but like, was the figure of $9,000 raised during the segment?
Yes.
During the whole day. The whole day.
That was
during the whole day. Yeah. That's crazy.
I know.
I've never seen that much.
Well, I'll tell you why it happened. I'll tell you why it happened, and it's something I want to ask you about too, Cheese. It happened because of the popularity of the snowballs. What were you thinking when they timed it to just hit you continuously in the face with snow? It happened to both of you, by the way, at one point, but I think it might have happened to Cheese second. What do you think? Are you just enjoying it at that point because it's so funny?
I'm 100% sure that the people who did that absolutely have done or seen crowd control Celeste before, and they're like, "I'm so gonna plan this because I know it's coming up, and I'm gonna do it on purpose because I saw it last time or something." That was so planned, but it was really funny. I was just like, "All right, guys, well, let's just wait."
I'm sure it's fair. Yeah, I'm sure it's a clip already. So if you haven't checked it out, check out that clip because that is the funniest moment of the day. Because G just put his controller down. There's a snowball. All right, he might move. Snowball. It was funny. So check that out.
I actually remember I told the chat, somebody put on invincibility real quick and let's see if it works, and it did, and then that's how I was able to get out of it.
Nice. That's the way to do it. That was crazy.
Awesome, guys. So let's just close it out today. PointCrow, awesome competitor. Thanks so much. Cheese, of course, thanks so much. Warning Track, thanks for being with me. Everybody today for donations of $9,000. You guys, are you kidding me? It's incredible. For a great cause, Urban Arts Partnership. That is so awesome. CLG, thanks for getting your runners to be a part of this. NRG as well. Thanks for letting your runners be a part of this. I am ALT Insider. This is GSA. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.